Chapter 289. Madame Xi Yuan's expression became gloomy. So shameless. How shameless. What is your name? Yihua asked Madame Xi Yuan. Xi Shan. Yihua nodded his head. Since he is someone that you have chosen, then you should properly cooperate with him. Don't stray more than 10 meters away from him, if not, my little brother will become a bachelor again. Xi Shan's expression sunk. This is equivalent to sealing off all of my paths. Alright, let's kiss each other to express our gratitude. After that, I will be leaving too. Yihua said faintly. Ali is still waiting for me to return home. Kiss. Looking at little brother Red, who was dressed entirely in red, Xi Shan didn't want to touch him no matter what. Big brother Green pushed little brother Red. Right now, Big brother Green's mood wasn't that gloomy anymore. After all, his honor said that he was going to introduce someone to me, and that person definitely wouldn't be bad. It was indeed not bad, but Big brother Green almost collapsed, because it was a cross race. Little brother Red was pushed to Xi Shan's side. Xi Shan was roughly 1.7 meters tall, while little brother Red was roughly 1.7 meters tall. When the two of them stood together, they looked quite compatible. However, little brother Red was very shy. Not knowing what to do, little brother Red scratched onto the back of his head and didn't dare to face the woman in front of him. He felt that this woman's aura was very similar to that of his homeroom teacher. Hee, little brother Red continued to smile foolishly. Kiss, what are you waiting for? Big brother Green shouted out anxiously. He was really anxious to death. Back then, the novels he wrote were so explosive, but now, he didn't even dare to kiss them. Yihua said faintly, Xiao Hong, a man should be a bit more courageous. Yes, Your Honor. Little brother Red took in a deep breath, then exhaled. While circulating, suddenly, Xi Shan grabbed onto little brother Red's collar, then pulled. Little brother Red was not allowed to watch. Little brother Red opened his eyes wide and had a dumbfounded look on his face. The softness on little brother Red's lips felt so real. Is this a kiss? It felt so comfortable. However, Xi Shan's thoughts were different. Right now, she wanted to let them know that she seemed to have accepted the truth, but she was only thinking about how to escape. She just didn't expect her first kiss to be given to a despicable human. In actuality, the reason why Xi Shan was still a virgin right now was because she wasn't willing to serve His Highness, and thus, she was punished. However, I didn't expect that little brother Red would be able to take advantage of Xi Shan. If after the punishment ends, His Highness finds out that his beloved wife had disappeared, and that her beloved wife had even gotten together with a non-mainstream man, he would definitely explode from anger. Little brother Red had really won 5 million yuan. In actuality, this was even better than winning 5 million yuan. After all, he was a god-level figure. Lai Gu's heart was dripping blood. God's wife was actually snatched away by my little brother. I'll teach you how to comb your hair in the middle. How dare you steal Big Brother's woman? I will prepare the new house. Wei Chang can stay at your place for the time being. Yihua stood up and said faintly. Yes. Today's matter shall end here, all of you can disperse. After finished speaking, Yihua disappeared from the scene. Very quickly, Zhu Tian, Yi Zizi and Lai Gu also disappeared. Wei Chang looked at little brother Red and said with a smile, What are you blanking out for? Let's go out for lunch. Big brother Green grabbed onto his little brother's shoulder, and said teasingly, Isn't it great? Isn't it great? Behave yourself, don't laugh foolishly. Little brother Red was currently smiling foolishly. Happiness came too suddenly. Xi Shan's face was calm. When the group returned to the rented house, they saw that Tang Wei was currently washing vegetables and preparing to cook. You guys are back. Quickly go and buy some green onions. Tang Wei stood in the kitchen and shouted. Wei Chang smiled and said, Xiao Tang, don't do it anymore. Xiao Hong has a happy occasion today. Let's go to the restaurant for lunch. Happy occasion. Tang Wei turned her head around to take a look, and saw that there was another woman who had an extremely beautiful appearance. The woman's dressing and appearance looked very noble. She is? Tang Wei asked curiously. Wei Chang held on to Tang Wei's shoulder and said with a smile, This is Zi Shan, his honor betrothed her to Little Red. Tang Wei had a shocked expression on her face, then said happily, Xiao Hong, congratulations, you have to treat us to lunch. Treat, of course I have to treat. Little Brother Red said embarrassedly with his head lowered. From time to time, he would take a look at Zi Shan. So beautiful. I actually have such a beautiful wife, I feel like I'm dreaming. But we don't have enough rooms in our house. Tang Wei pursed her lips. Originally, it was supposed to be a world of 2 people, but now, there are more and more people in the house. Wei Chang rubbed onto Tang Wei's beautiful hair, his honor is very attentive this time, he will definitely arrange everything properly. Big Brother Green said hurriedly, I will just sleep on the sofa for the next few days, I will give my room to them. Big Brother, you treat me so well, let's not break up anymore. Little Brother Red had a grateful expression on his face. Big Brother has finally become a real big brother for once. Big Brother Green blushed with shame and said hurriedly, I don't want to be with you anymore, quickly break up. Everyone laughed happily, and only Zi Shan had a calm expression on her face. With such strength, they are actually living such a life, I really don't understand them. Little Brother Red's money was limited. The few of them came to a small fast food restaurant and arranged a table for them. This could be counted as treating them to lunch first. It was already noon when Yihua returned back to Leisure Bar. Originally, because the plan was messed up, Yihua was feeling gloomy in his heart, but I didn't expect that it would turn out to be Little Brother Red, causing his mood to become much better. Standing beside the bedroom's window, Yihua lit up a stick of cigarette. The wedding of the underling naturally has to be grand, and as the boss, I have to make proper arrangements. Things like the wedding room, who should I invite, and so on. Furthermore, right now, the plan is already messed up, most of the bosses in the south have already passed away, and it would take too long for me to wait for them to recover their battle strength. Let's put these things aside for now. Thinking up to here, Yihua decided to discuss with his 2 wives about how big the scale of the wedding should be, and how big 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 the wedding should be. Suddenly, Yihua felt a surge of spiritual energy coming out from his body, causing his brows to wrinkle. Yihua immediately threw away the cigarette, but this time, he didn't lie down on the bed, instead, he fell onto the floor, and his hand was still stretching towards the wheelchair. Furthermore, Yihua revealed an expression of trying very hard. Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji decided to come back. After all, there was still a disabled man and a daughter that they had to take care of at home. Yihua! Yihua! The 2 women cried out in surprise and immediately went over to support Yihua. After not being at home for a few days, Yihua became like this, what a failure of a wife. Let go of me, you 2 still know to come back. Yihua flung the wheelchair. Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji looked at each other. As expected, Yihua is angry. Qingye said fawningly, we were wrong, don't be angry anymore, darling, be good, move aside, don't block me. Yihua said faintly, then used all his strength to crawl onto the wheelchair. I have already paved the way for my recovery to be successful. The 2 women were also overjoyed. My husband is finally getting a bit better, but right now, he is throwing a tantrum, what should I do? Dong Huang Baiji signaled to Qingye to go up, Yihua likes you the most. Don't think about seducing me, I don't fall for it anymore. Qinya could be heard leaning over and whispering a few words into Yihua's ears. Yihua deeply wrinkled his brows. Really? When have I ever lied to you? You are the only one who lies to me. Qinya pinched onto Yihua's cheeks petulantly. Chapter 290. Alright, in the future, if you two still don't return at night, just watch how I will teach you two a lesson. How is the matter going? Yihua asked. When Qinya told Donghuang Baiji about what happened today, she also told Yihua about her suspicions, causing Yihua's mind to tremble. They could actually see that it was a conspiracy. This was not a good thing, and now he had to use another matter to divert their attention. Do you still remember the Green and Red brothers? Xiao Hong is getting married. Qinya naturally knew about it. These two brothers were good people. They had sent Ali here from afar. However, Donghuang Baiji had only met Ali once, and thus, she didn't know about the twists and turns between Ali and Donghuang Baiji. Qinya explained what happened to Donghuang Baiji. Donghuang Baiji was also the kind of woman who would repay kindness. Actually, I've already accepted those two brothers as my little brother's little brother's little brother. I'll take care of their entire wedding. Do you have any objections? Yihua asked faintly. However, that expression of his seemed to be saying, if you all dare to have any objections, you are forcing me to lose my temper. Donghuang Baiji definitely wouldn't have any objections. However, she asked curiously, Yihua, do you have the money to hold a wedding for my little brother's little brother? Hee, isn't what's yours mine? Don't ask this kind of very stupid question. Yihua slapped onto Qinya's perky butt, causing Qinya to be very unhappy. After the flirting between the husband and wife, Yihua sat on the sofa, and the two wives snuggled up to him. From the looks of it, my injuries are almost completely healed. Do you all have any plans for the future? Yihua asked curiously. Qinya leaned on Yihua's shoulder and said faintly with her beautiful eyes closed, give birth to the child in peace. What about you, Baiji? Yihua asked. Donghuang Baiji said shyly, give birth to another one. This was the rhythm, comfortable. Yihua decided that for the next few years, his vision would be placed on his wife and child. The South would not be able to rise up in the next few years, and thus, his plan could only be put on hold. Sun Fang no longer needed to look after the Ying family. As for absolute heaven, if he wanted to become a professor and meditate, then so be it. Right now, there was nothing for him to do. With 3 celebrities supporting him, Lai Gu's life was very free and easy. Wei Chong was still trying to figure out how to push down Tang Bingyao. It was reckoned that even after little brother Red's child came out, Wei Chong would still not be able to make any progress. Yi Zizi was fooling around with Qin Yutong all day long, and the school term was about to start soon, so I have to supervise them. In any case, I don't have anything else to do. It was more or less arranged like that. Yihua, I want to go and thank that Green and Red brothers. Donghuang Baiji said tenderly. It is fortunate that my daughter ran into them. If not, what would I do if she ran into some bad people? Yihua laughed lightly. All right then. In actuality, I was the one who pulled the strings for little brother Red's marriage. Take it as my thanks. Yihua, how are you going to pull the strings if you stay at home? What kind of women do you know? Qinya hooked onto Yihua's chin and asked curiously. Actually, that gaze was asking, are you hiding another woman outside again? Donghuang Baiji also looked at Yihua with a serious expression. This is something that is absolutely not allowed. Holy shit, I said soon. He had dug a pit for himself. In any case, I'm also a person from the cultivation world. I remembered that I saved a woman in the past, and that woman wanted to return the favor. Didn't I get in touch with Wei Chong? Afterward, the two of them hit it off the moment they met, and I did a good deed. Yihua said faintly. He didn't even blink when he lied. Qinya responded, then said, let me give Wei Chang a call and ask. Up to you. Yi Hua expressed that he didn't mind. This woman's thoughts are indeed scary. I have to be more careful in the future. Yi Hua hurriedly contacted Wei Chang and tried to get some information out of her. After ending the call, Qinya hugged onto Yi Hua's arm and said happily, Yi Hua, you are really too good, you even know how to be a matchmaker. You were still doubting me just now, what do you think I should do? Yi Hua snorted coldly. Qinya looked at Yi Hua coquettishly, then stuck out her perky butt. So alluring. This woman, I really love and hate her at the same time. Then, let's make a trip over tonight, lest you all say that I'm stingy. Yi Hua said faintly. If Baiji wants to go and thank Yi Hua, then let's go. After telling Dong Huangli that they are going to meet the Green and Red brothers tonight, the little fellow was also extremely excited. The buried love family is finally going to be reunited. When Wei Chang found out that his honor was going to come over tonight, he informed the Green and Red brothers, and of course, Zishan as well. Wei Chang told Zishan not to speak carelessly when the time comes, if not, the consequences will be very serious. In actuality, the atmosphere right now was still very awkward, especially between Little Brother Red and Zishan. Little Brother Red had been laughing foolishly for a few hours already. If it wasn't for the fact that Zishan knew Little Brother Red, Zishan would definitely think that Little Brother Red was an idiot. And when Zishan saw the foolish Little Brother Red, she even had the heart to die. To actually laugh to that extent, I might as well just commit suicide, right? I really can't live on anymore. Big brother, what should I say to Zishan now? Little Brother Red could only ask his big brother for help. Big brother has experience in love, even though he was cheated on by someone, that was a tragedy that was hard to forget. Big Brother Green said based on his own experience, don't be anxious, go and ask her right now, is her mood good today? Ask Zishan if her mood is good. This question is too sharp, too powerful. Little Brother Red naturally listened to his big brother. Sitting beside Zishan, Little Brother Red asked in a low voice, are you in a good mood today? Zishan wished that she could slap Little Brother Red to death. You asked me if my mood is good or not, I was thrown to you like a commodity by your big brother, and you asked me if my mood is good or not, and I am even going to give birth to a child with you within 2 months. If I don't give birth, I am going to die. Tell me if my mood is good or not. Seeing that Zishan's face was black and not speaking, Little Brother Red walked over to Big Brother Green's side. She isn't speaking. Little Brother Red said helplessly. Right now, Big Brother Green was a bit glad that Zishan didn't choose me. Zishan is simply like an ancestor, I have to worship her. Big Brother Green patted onto his little brother's shoulder and said, don't be discouraged, she might be too excited to speak. Is that so? Why do I feel that she wants to kill me? This means that your feeling is correct. Big Brother Green sighed. Little Brother Red had a bitter look on his face. I have a wife, yet I don't seem to have one, no wonder even Big Brother isn't jealous of me anymore. Big Brother, what should I do now? Little Brother Red also wanted to talk to a beautiful woman. Big Brother Green scratched onto the green fur on his head. How about this, you go and ask her if the weather is good or not. If that doesn't work, continue to ask her, what kind of movies does she like to watch, where does she like to travel to, what kind of food does she like to eat? How many people does she have at home, how many villas does she have, how many supercars does she have, how many mines does she have? Big Brother, look at the way she is dressed, she is definitely a rich person. Let's not ask about the rest, let's just ask her if the food she ate today is good or not. Finished speaking, the little brother walked up to Zishan. Even if Big Brother Green wanted to pull Zishan, he wouldn't be able to do so, because Zishan didn't eat anything at all. Zishan, is the fish we ate today delicious? Little Brother Red really asked Zishan, causing Big Brother Green to hold onto his forehead. Zishan couldn't take it anymore and shouted out lightly, "Don't bother me." Little Brother Red was startled, and his expression gradually collapsed, seemingly as if he had received a huge injury. Chapter 291. Upon seeing this, Big Brother Green frowned. Originally, he was happy for his little brother, but this woman wasn't someone easy to deal with, and his little brother couldn't control her at all. "Don't you know your little brother's personality? He was timid and kind-hearted. He wouldn't even dare to kill a chicken. He would blush whenever he saw a beautiful girl. No, he would blush whenever he saw someone of the opposite sex, let alone someone beautiful. This Zishan is beautiful, isn't she? She is a top-notch beauty. Now that she has smashed onto my little brother's head, how can I not be happy? Even in my dreams, I would be able to wake up with a smile on my face. Unfortunately, why would such a cold and arrogant woman like my little brother? My little brother is completely suppressed by his honor." Wei Chang and Tang Wei were squatting at the side, peeling the leaves of a vegetable. Seeing that little brother Red's expression wasn't right, then taking a look at Zishan who was sitting on the sofa like a big boss, Wei Chang's expression sunk. This woman doesn't even realize what kind of situation she is in. Wiping his hands, Wei Chang stood up. "Uncle Wei, don't be angry," Tang Wei said with concern. "It has already been so many days, but the wolfberry tea that Uncle Wei drank is still not working. Seems like I have to go and look for a more powerful folk prescription." Wei Chang patted on Tang Wei's shoulder. "I am a respectable person. If I can move my mouth, then I will definitely not use my hands." Sitting on the sofa, Wei Chang asked faintly, "Zishan, what's wrong? Are you not satisfied?" Zishan coldly said, "None of you are good people." Hearing this, Wei Chang chuckled. "You, deities, are a good person again. In your eyes, humans are nothing more than ants. However, in the eyes of his honor, you deities are also nothing more than ants." Zishan did not say anything. After pausing for a moment, Wei Chang continued, "We did not tie you up. If you feel that this is a great humiliation, you can walk away now. If you are more than 10 meters away, you will be free within 10 steps." Zishan clenched her fists, and a struggling expression could be seen on her beautiful face. She had already tried it before, but when she took the first step, she felt a sharp pain in her heart. When she took the second step, she felt as if her entire body was about to split apart. She no longer dared to take the third step. For the sake of dignity, he could choose a painless death, but if he wanted to live, he had to live honestly. Between the two choices, which was more important, dignity or survival? Wei Chang leaned on the sofa and said, "You gods are all hypocrites, I'm used to it. You say that I killed a lot of people, but you just killed a lot too. Do you think that my little brother is not worthy of you? I'll be honest with you. My little brother can poke you to death with just one finger. Don't think that you're number one in the world. You are already preparing to have a child with Baiji, yet you are still smoking every single day. You need to quit drinking as well," Qingye urged. "After I give birth to a child, I will definitely want another child. Right now, I need to change this bad habit of men." Dong Huangli followed along and said, "Daddy, smoking is not good for your body. This time, you need to listen to Mommy and Aunt Qing." "Alright, these three are attacking me together, making me unable to fight back at all. Take it slowly," Yihua said. This could be considered as a compromise. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji had a gratified smile on their faces. Yihua is still quite sensible. "That's right, Qingye, that house that we bought, let's give it to Little Red as our wedding house. I don't want to move away from here, it is quite good to stay here," Yihua said. Back then, Qingye bought a villa and prepared to stay there. Right now, the villa was already renovated, but Qingye never went there. In actuality, Qingye didn't want to go there anymore. Although this bar was small, it had everything, and it was filled with a lot of memories. Qingye felt the same way too. In the beginning, she didn't want to stay here, and she even felt that this place was very dirty and messy. However, after such a long time, she really couldn't leave this place, because this place contained a lot of memories that she had with Yihua. All right. Qingye nodded her head. Yihua opened the window, allowing the wind to blow into the bar. Narrowing his eyes, he looked at the city. Although he had stayed in the city for 5 years, he wasn't familiar with the roads at all. Because he rarely went out, he basically stayed at home and watched cartoons. A huge billboard attracted Yihua's gaze. Isn't this Lai Gu's wife? Should I consider retrieving Lai Gu's corporeal body? Wei Chang lived in an ordinary neighborhood, and the house that he lived in was rented. Yihua was thinking whether or not I should buy a house for Wei Chang as well. However, if I keep asking Qingye for money, it seems like I have no face at all. However, the money that I won from the bet is all with her. Although I have already given out the money, and it would be embarrassing for me to take back the money, I should at least show some appreciation, right? Right now, Wei Chang, Tang Wei, and the others were already waiting respectfully downstairs. Qingye saw the unfamiliar Zi Shan with a single glance, then asked curiously, Yihua, that woman is Little Red's wife? That's right, she's still all right. The Green and Red brothers thanked Dong Huangli sincerely. If they didn't meet Dong Huangli back then, perhaps, they would still be working in the village right now. It was precisely because they met Dong Huangli that their lives had undergone a tremendous change. In the past, they didn't even dare to think about it. Facts had proven that as long as one followed the right person, one's future would be bright. And finally, Zi Shan was able to see the 2 wives of his honor. Indeed, the 2 wives are exceptionally beautiful, and they are even a bit stronger than me. I didn't expect that there would be such beauties in the secular world. If those deities were to find out about this, they would definitely come down and snatch Zi Shan away. It is not convenient for Yihua to go upstairs, let's go out to eat today and discuss about their marriage. Qingye said tenderly. Since your wife has spoken, who would dare to say no? Of course, he agreed. For her husband to invite his underlings to a banquet, of course, he had to choose a good place. Longthan City was a second-tier city, and there were not many high-class hotels. For example, the Yipin clubhouse that he used to go to was considered a relatively high-class place. Today, Qingye made a reservation at a place called Pingyuan Private Kitchen. The place wasn't considered to be luxurious, but it was said that the boss's culinary skills were superb. Of course, the price of the dishes was ridiculously expensive. For example, a plate of egg-fried rice cost 99 RMB, and there was even a limited amount of it that was sold every day. And this was the cheapest place that Qingye had heard from those uncles and aunties when she was buying breakfast. When they arrived at Pingyuan Private Kitchen, there was already a long queue outside the restaurant. Fortunately, Qingye had already made a reservation through the phone, and the boss was straightforward. Every boss would be straightforward towards beautiful women. Yihua looked at this ordinary-looking restaurant. Although there was a long queue outside the restaurant, he still asked, is it really that good? It shouldn't be bad, you can be at ease. Yihua naturally trusted his wife. Everyone directly walked into Pingyuan Private Kitchen, and the people that were queuing outside immediately became unhappy. Why? Don't you have any idea what's going on in your heart? Although the outside of the restaurant doesn't look like much, the interior decoration of the restaurant is not bad, and it is very high class. The group arrived at a private room on the 2nd floor, and there was a big table that just happened to be able to seat 9 people. Zi Shan casually sat down. Little brother Red pursed his lips and did not sit beside Zi Shan, and was prepared to sit together with his big brother. Come over. Zi Shan said lightly. Although Zishan's voice was soft, everyone that was sitting at the table heard it. Little Brother Red went into a slight daze, not understanding what Zishan means. Why does she want me to go over? Is she going to hit me? But I can't win against her, so should I fight back later on? What if I injure her? Big Brother Green said in a low voice, if she wants you to go over, then just go over. Little Brother Red slowly walked to Zishan's side. Little Brother Red's current appearance was that of a student walking to the back of a teacher, looking like he was prepared to listen to a lecture. Sit. Zishan said faintly. Little Brother Red became happy. Could it be that my wife has thought things through? Uncle Wei is still the best, to be able to convince her in just a few minutes. Seeing Zishan's attitude, Yihua was rather satisfied. Soon after, dishes were served onto the table. Just by looking at the appearance of the dishes, one could tell that they were not bad. At the very least, Yihua had the urge to stretch out his chopsticks. A chef who was wearing a white coat could be seen walking in slowly, then said to everyone with a smile, "Welcome to Pingyuan Private Kitchen, I am the chef cum boss of this place." This person's name was Pingyuan. He was white and chubby, and when he smiled, his eyes would disappear. Seeing that everyone was not speaking, Pingyuan felt a bit awkward and began introducing his dishes. After all, the price of the dishes on this table was over 100,000, and there was no need to talk about the ingredients, all of them were top-notch because they were all given by the system. There's no need for introductions, we still have things to discuss. Yihua said faintly. Ah. This was the first time that Pingyuan had encountered such a situation. This restaurant had been open for close to a week, and the customers that came to the restaurant were all curious. Especially when he was introducing the dishes, some of the customers even wanted him to introduce the ingredients used in the dishes. Looking at the few beauties, I will forget about it. There are so many dishes here, it would be a waste of my saliva to introduce them. After the boss left, Yihua began to move his chopsticks. After tasting the dishes, he felt that the dishes were indeed not bad, then nodded his head, "Everyone, let's eat." If the boss doesn't say to eat, how would the underlings dare to pick up their chopsticks? Qingya asked, "Zishan, do you have any requirements for the wedding? You can tell me about it now, I will go and arrange it when the time comes." Zishan placed down her chopsticks and said lightly, "Thank you, I don't have any requirements, I just want to keep everything simple." Qingya looked towards her man. Why does it feel like this Zishan is being forced to get married? Alright, I will arrange for the best wedding services to be prepared for your wedding, you can be at ease. Qingya said. Little Brother Red hurriedly thanked, "Thank you, Lady Boss, for your concern." Chapter 293. Wei Chang, when the time comes, I will prepare a wedding house for you. Wei Chang and Tang Wei felt a burst of bashfulness. We haven't even done anything good, and yet we are already getting married. Boss, I'm already used to living here. If it's possible, can you help me buy it? Wei Chang smiled modestly. Some things, once you're used to it, you don't want to abandon it anymore. Yihua nodded his head, "Sure, let your lady boss buy it for you." Wei Chang, Qingya rolled her eyes at Yihua, then said to Wei Chang with a smile, "Wei Chang, you can stay here peacefully, I will help you buy a house." His Honor's wife is still the most reliable. His Honor really likes to swindle people. The dishes here are indeed not bad, I will come here more often in the future. Yihua said faintly. I decided that in the future, when I go out to eat, I will come to this restaurant. It is truly not bad. Qingya rolled her eyes at the man. Other people aren't even willing to receive you. Little Brother Red could be seen taking care of Zishan with all of his heart and soul. Little Brother Red was taking care of Zishan with all of his heart and soul. However, Zishan also felt that this dish was pretty good. I didn't expect that there would be such food in the secular world. After dinner, Yihua's family of 4 naturally went back home, and the others also went back home. The Green and Red brothers were planning to move house tomorrow, therefore, they were going to stay at Wei Chang's house for one last night. However, Tang Wei seemed to be very happy. I can finally be alone with Uncle Wei again. I must definitely cure Uncle Wei's illness and then live happily ever after. Thinking about it, I still feel a little shy. In the car, Dong Huang Li's stomach had become big from eating so much that she was currently lying on her father's bosom and sleeping. Yihua, why do I feel that Zishan isn't in a good mood? Qingye asked curiously. Her woman's intuition was telling her that Zishan wasn't in a good mood. Dong Huang Baiji nodded her head as well, and it seems like there's something very heavy on her mind. Yihua lightly caressed onto his daughter's hair and said faintly, a woman who is about to get married will definitely be a bit nervous. The 2 girls stopped asking because they thought of the same question. Marriage? When is Yihua planning to hold his wedding? The group of people returned home, and Qingye took care of Yihua. Yihua knew that he was about to fully recover, and everything had been laid out properly. Now, all that was left was for him to fully recover. At that time, little Baiji, you can't run away. At this moment, in a certain deep forest, clouds gradually gathered in the sky. Suddenly, lightning flashed, thunder roared, and strong winds blew. Boom, boom, boom. A thick tree was directly split by the lightning, and at this moment, 9 lightning bolts suddenly appeared in the sky, intertwining together. It emitted a dazzling white light. Suddenly, a white light flashed, and the world returned to normal. However, a figure appeared in the void. The man slowly opened his eyes. His black and white eyes seemed to be able to see through everything in the world. He was tall and handsome, with sword-like eyebrows and bright eyes. He wore a gorgeous robe and had an evil smile on his face. He muttered, "This demon emperor is finally back. Qingye, I won't let you die in vain in this lifetime, Long Outyin. You are not worthy of Qingye at all, you are a bastard. As for those debts that need to be settled, this demon emperor will come looking for you one by one." With that, the man disappeared into thin air as if he had never been there. In Wei Chang's rented house, tonight, Big Brother Green was sleeping on the sofa, while his little brother was in the bridal room, but who knows if he was sleeping on the floor or not. Big Brother Green was right, Little Brother Red was indeed sleeping on the floor, and furthermore, he was sleeping on the floor of his own accord. Zishan did not refuse and lied on the bed. Now that his magic power was sealed, even if he wanted to do something to him, he would not be able to resist. But, if he really did that, I would have to run 10 steps away from him. But, 2 months later, if I don't get pregnant, it would be hard for me to escape death. Yihua predicted that Little Brother Red would be in a disadvantageous position, so he used time to restrain them. His little brother wouldn't be anxious, the one who would be anxious would be Zishan. In the end, Zishan would be the one who pushed his little brother down. Of course, this was just Yihua's own deduction. However, looking at the current situation, Little Brother Red didn't dare to touch Zishan. In Little Brother Red's eyes, a wife like Zishan should be properly protected and cherished. "Are you hungry?" Little Brother Red, who was lying on the bed, asked with concern. Zishan, who was lying on the bed, slightly opened her beautiful eyes and said faintly, "I'm not hungry." "Then, are you thirsty? I will go and pour a cup of water for you." Little Brother Red asked again. Zishan wrinkled her brows, "I'm not thirsty." Little Brother Red was a bit depressed. "Is she rejecting me in a disguised way? Are you cold? I will turn up the air conditioner." Little Brother Red was just trying to find a topic to chat about. However, a topic like this was truly very awkward. Which girl would like a topic like this, let alone Zishan, who was a deity? Zishan said gravely, "Red, I will never fall in love with you. All of this was arranged by His Honor, and I am only passively accepting it. I have already thought it through. I will properly spend these 2 months with you." After hearing what Yihua said, little brother Red became very absent-minded. In the end, little brother Red hugged onto the blanket tightly and mumbled, "I understand. Thinking about it, it makes sense." Chapter 294. In the bedroom on the second floor of the bar. Yihua was currently happily hugging onto his wife and sleeping, and his evil hands had already reached into Qingya's pajamas. Meanwhile, the face of Qingya who was sleeping was completely red. However, the curve on the corner of Qingya's mouth showed that she was happy. "Yihua, Qingya, this is bad." Donghuang Baiji suddenly pushed open the door and entered the room. Yihua and Qingya slowly opened their eyes. Yihua said gravely, "Baiji, as an empress, look at how you are acting. No matter how big the matter is, I will be there to help you. Ji family killed all the family heads in the south." Donghuang Baiji shouted out in shock. She was truly unable to remain calm in such a situation. She was simply a lunatic. Qingya immediately sat up, and her soft and beautiful curves could cause people to be mesmerized. How is this possible? Qingya also didn't believe that such a thing would happen. Yihua was very displeased. Looking at the situation, they want to interfere again. "If that's the case, I'm going to hug air tonight." After the two women finished watching the video, they were shocked. Ji family is the cruel one. Qingya asked gravely, "What is the current situation?" Donghuang Baiji's brows became tightly wrinkled as she said, "The remaining powers in the south are currently gathering together, and it seems like Ying family doesn't have any plans to step forward. However, since Ji family did such a heinous thing, Voidless Realm cannot just watch with folded arms." Yihua asked faintly, "May I ask, are the two heroines planning to leave the disabled and their daughter at home and not care about them again?" The two women turned their heads around and looked towards Yihua with a guilty look on their faces. Donghuang Baiji begged, "Yihua, I have to go and deal with this matter. At most, it will only take a few days. And Baiji definitely won't be able to handle everything by herself, I'll go and help her." Qingya was also someone who cared about the common people, and this was completely the effect of her bloodline. If Yihua were to find out about this, he would definitely regret the fact that he directed the movie, causing Qingya's bloodline to awaken, causing her to fall in love with being a hero. Seeing that his two wives were going to go out and be heroes again, Yihua was very displeased and said coldly, "Go ahead, if I were to die at home, you two wouldn't even know." Left with no choice, the two wives could only act like a spoiled child. Sob, 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 the two women took one side each. "Yihua, wait for us to come back, we promise that we will accompany you properly. You can do whatever you want." Donghuang Baiji said tenderly. Qingya nodded her head. Yihua was moved, and he asked gravely, "Really?" The two women hurriedly nodded. "Hurry up and return then," Yihua said. As soon as he finished speaking, the two women disappeared. These two women. Only by locking them up will they be able to face themselves every day. After lying on the bed and thinking for a while, Yihua felt that it was time for Ying family to make a move. Although this Ji family has been exterminated, no one else knows about it. Right now, the general trend of events is unavoidable, and even Donghuang Baiji has made a move. As the southern part of Ying family, it doesn't seem appropriate for Ying family to not make a move. Yihua immediately contacted Wei Chang and asked Sun Fang to notify Ying family to participate in this encirclement and annihilation operation. The moment the Ying family received the news, they immediately started to organize. The entire south and even the northern power started to head towards the Ji family. To do such a heinous thing, it would incur the wrath of both men and gods. He didn't know that Ji clan had already been exterminated. Of course, it would still take a few days for them to organize such a large-scale operation, and Yihua reckoned that he would have to be lonely and unable to sleep for a few days. However, this was good as well. Yihua would be able to cultivate the father-daughter relationship with Li, and he would be able to casually swindle Qin Yutong and Yizizi. On this day, the green and red brothers moved to a new house. When they saw the villa in front of them, they felt like they were dreaming. The two brothers suddenly gave each other a hug, and their dreams were finally realized. Zishan followed behind the two brothers, and when she saw the two brothers in front of her, they became so excited just because of a house. Sigh. To a deity like Zishan, a villa like this was really not pleasing to her eyes. However, to the green and red brothers, a villa like this was their dream. To be able to have a place of their own in a big city. Zishan, are you tired? Quickly go into the house and rest. Little brother Red said with concern. Although he knew that it was impossible for Zishan to stay in the house, he still felt that he had to properly take care of Zishan. Zishan shook her head, I'm not tired. Big brother Green held on to his little brother and said in a low voice, let me tell you, don't ever show your enthusiasm, you need to know how to play hard to get. Big brother, that time when you played hard to get, that girl didn't seem to have contacted you again. Little brother Red felt that his big brother wasn't as smart as him when it came to relationships. Big brother Green felt very awkward as he explained, that time was a mistake, it was mainly because I, as a big brother, didn't lay the groundwork properly, and my feelings weren't on point. Big brother, you can be at ease. In actuality, I also know that there won't be any results between me and her. Big brother Green's brows wrinkled, what? You are backing out just because of this. Little brother Red nodded his head disappointedly, then said with a smile, Big brother, you don't have to worry about me. But, 2 months later, His Honor said that he wants you to do it yourself. Big brother Green said solemnly. This isn't a joke. Little brother Red remained silent. Big brother Green let out a heavy sigh. I really don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. The decoration of the villa was high-end and classy. After all, Chinya had planned to live in the villa by herself in the past, so she definitely wouldn't treat me shabbily. The master bedroom was naturally for little brother, and big brother Green was staying in the second bedroom. Meanwhile, the second bedroom was originally reserved for Yihua by Chinya, but right now, there was no longer a need for it. Zishan followed closely behind little brother Red. Wherever little brother Red went, Zishan would follow. After all, the distance between the two of them could only be maintained at 10 meters. Yihua was quite attentive, giving the two of them an opportunity to chat. In actuality, there wasn't much to do in the villa. The Green and Red brothers didn't have anything to put on the villa, and Zishan didn't bring anything over either. However, they still had to change their clothes, right? Fortunately, the two brothers had exchanged for a gold brick, and right now, they were a bit richer. However, the rest of the gold bricks were given to Wei Chang as a show of filial piety. This made Wei Chang happy. Zishan, how about going to the streets to buy a few sets of clothes? You still have to change your clothes. Right now, little brother Red wasn't that shy anymore. This Zishan is also a pitiful person, there is no need for me to make things difficult for her. Zishan also knew that she didn't have any clothes, and right now, she had to rely on little brother Red for everything. Alright. Big brother Green turned on the television, then said with a smile, you two can go out on a date then, I am not fit to play with the two of you anymore. Little brother Red's face became slightly red as he argued, Big brother, I am accompanying Zishan to buy a change of clothes. Go buy clothes, don't forget to buy underwear. Fortunately, Big brother reminded me, if not, I would have really forgotten to buy underwear. Zishan's brows became wrinkled. Underwear is definitely something that is close to one's body. This green head is actually so frivolous, fortunately, I didn't choose him. After calling a taxi, the two headed towards the city. When the taxi driver saw the two of them getting on the taxi, he was very puzzled. After all, the woman was too beautiful, and the man seemed to be restless, as if he was doing something bad. Chapter 295. The majestic breeze outside the window lightly caressed Zishan's face. The current Zishan had lost the noble and dignified look that she had in the past, and she looked a bit weak. This was also the reason why old Ziqing misunderstood Zishan. Little brother Red didn't say anything, and from time to time, he would sneak a peek at Zishan. Why would Zishan go and offend his honor? How good would it be if she didn't offend his honor? At the same time, she wouldn't have to die, and she wouldn't have to be shoved to me to suffer. Miss, the old driver asked again. Zishan frowned and said coldly, "Shut up." Could it be that this woman kidnapped this man? So fierce, forget it, forget it. Little brother Red asked with concern, "Zishan, are you all right?" Zishan did not say anything. She propped up her chin and looked outside the window. Little brother Red didn't continue asking. After arriving at the street, the two of them got off the car. Little brother Red and Zishan immediately became the center of attention. In actuality, little brother Red's dressing was rather trendy, and the main thing was that his hairstyle had become a half-parted hairstyle. The one who attracted the most attention was Zishan. She was truly a beautiful big sister. Some guys couldn't help but want to flirt with her. A handsome young man could be seen running over with a warm smile on his face. He was holding something in his hand and asked Zishan, "Big sister, I have something for you. Do you want it?" Zishan raised her head and looked at Zishan, then said slowly, "Get lost." The handsome guy was dumbfounded. "You even dared to tease a deity? Are you truly tired of living?" If not for Zishan having her powers sealed, this handsome guy would have already died. The young man ran away awkwardly. Little brother Red laughed. In actuality, this was his first time accompanying a girl to go shopping, and he didn't know what they were going to do. On the other hand, Zishan followed behind little brother Red and acted as if she would do whatever little brother Red said. "Zishan, how about we go and take a look at this shop?" Little brother Red asked. Zishan lightly nodded her head. In actuality, in Zishan's heart, she didn't have a good impression of everyone. Although she didn't have a good impression of this little brother of hers, at the very least, he was a bit better than Wei Chang and Big Brother Green. "You go ahead and choose, don't follow me," little brother Red said. Zishan said faintly, "Just help me choose." He was about to die, so he wasn't in the mood to choose clothes to wear. "Handsome, your girlfriend is so beautiful." A waitress came up and greeted him enthusiastically. Little brother Red laughed dryly, then said, "Help her get a few sets of clothes." "No problem. Just hug me. You have a good figure. You look good in anything." The saleswoman also praised her ceaselessly. Of course, she was also envious. Afterward, little brother Red sat on the sofa and waited, while Zishan walked into the changing room to try on the dress. When Zishan walked out of the changing room, little brother Red couldn't help but be dumbfounded. All of the waiters in the store were stunned by Zishan's beauty. Right now, Zishan was wearing ladies' cropped trousers, and paired with a capable lady's shirt. Zishan had tied her hair into a ponytail, and in an instant, she had turned into a city beauty, just that, she was a cold and aloof type. "Change to another set," little brother Red said. Zishan knitted her eyebrows, then walked back into the changing room. This time he wore casual clothes, tight jeans, and a t-shirt. Little brother Hong's eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. "So, Zishan's figure is actually this good, her legs are so long, her chest is also so good, cough, cough, cough." Little brother Red turned his head away, seemingly embarrassed to continue watching. Zishan sighed, then went back into the room to change. 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 After changing at least 20 plus sets of clothes, Zishan finally couldn't bear it anymore and asked, "How long are you going to keep changing?" Little Brother Red's expression sunk. "You didn't say that you were satisfied with them either." The waiters covered their mouths and laughed lightly. "Wrap up all of the clothes that I tried on just now." Little Brother Red felt that all of the clothes looked good, and thus, he bought all of them. The waiters cried out in surprise. "This fellow's family definitely has a mine." After counting the money, due to the large amount of clothes, "It would be even better if the store could give all of the clothes to me." Little Brother Red walked out of the door. Right now, Zishan was wearing a small skirt, and she looked very beautiful. That spotlessly white jade neck of hers made one have the urge to lick it. "Zishan, do you still want to buy anything else?" Little Brother Red asked. Zishan said, "Do as you see fit." "Then I'll go and buy a few sets of underwear for you then." Zishan's expression sunk. I didn't expect that this Little Brother Red would be so frivolous. After bringing Zishan to the underwear store, Little Brother Red waited outside. Little Brother Red didn't dare to enter the colorful pink world. Roughly 20 minutes later, Zishan came out with a shopping bag. "Young miss, you still haven't paid." The lady boss chased after Zishan and shouted out. Little Brother Red hurriedly paid Zishan, then said, "Do you want to go and eat something?" "Anything." After arriving at the restaurant, Little Brother Red asked again, "What kind of dishes do you want to eat?" "Anything." However, for all of Little Brother Red's questions, Zishan's answer was anything. Suddenly, Little Brother Red asked, "Zishan, do you want to eat shit?" "Anything." Little Brother Red. Zishan came back to her senses and stared at Little Brother Red with a cold expression, seemingly like she was asking, "Do you want to die?" In actuality, Little Brother Red really wanted to laugh, but he endured it. "Don't be angry, I was just trying to make you happy." After a while, Little Brother Red said embarrassedly. Zishan said coldly, "You sure are happy." Little Brother Red knew that Zishan was angry, and thus, he continued eating silently. "If there's a next time, I'll directly run away," Zishan said gravely. "Although I'm a prisoner, if I'm forced into a corner, I'll also end my life." Little Brother Red's intention was good, but the question he asked was simply too weird. It's no wonder that Zishan has always been single, there's a reason for this. "I understand." Little Brother Red could only agree. After eating, the two returned home. Right now, Zishan only wanted to peacefully spend the remaining time in her life, and she didn't want to think about anything else. Little Brother Red was still very concerned about Zishan. "Taking care of Zishan is fine, I guess." Days passed by, and Yihua's group seemed to have sunk into a depressing atmosphere. Yihua slept alone for 3 days. If it was in the past, Yihua wouldn't feel anything, but right now, he wasn't used to it. He wasn't used to it at all. These two women actually didn't return home for 3 days. "The keyboard has already been prepared, and the first thing I'm going to do when I return home is to make them kneel on the keyboard." On the 3rd day, Voidless Realm and Ning family joined hands to break G family's seal. Countless people immediately rushed into G family's house and demanded G family to give an explanation. Furthermore, they wanted to convict G family of their crimes and lock them up for several hundred years. However, when they rushed into G family's house, they discovered that G family's house was completely empty, there wasn't a single person in the house. They definitely ran away, I came too late. Everyone searched for the family heads' corpses according to the video, and sure enough, all of the family heads' corpses were buried in a huge pit. This also meant that the video was real, G family's people didn't die a good death. There were still a lot of family members at the scene, and when they saw the corpses of their husbands or brothers, their mournful cries resounded throughout the world. From the looks of it, Yihua had done a good deed. After all, he had taken revenge for them. Chapter 296. In the beginning, when the two families met, Voidless Realm was extremely angry, and Voidless Realm nearly started fighting with Ying family. As for Donghuang Baiji, she endured it. Now is not the time to settle old scores, there will be plenty of time in the future. Everyone was once again subdued by the Empress's bearing. However, everyone could see that the Ying family was trying to curry favor with the Empress. This was especially so for the Ying family's patriarch, Ying Jingshan. Those who didn't know better would think that he was the Empress's servant. At this moment, the three of them were standing in the ruins of the Ji clan's main hall, looking around with a serious expression. Qingya's tone was filled with doubt. From the looks of it, Ji family doesn't seem to have left. Donghuang Baiji tightly wrinkled her brows, then nodded her head, and, it seems like someone has been here. Ying Jingshan didn't know of Yihua's plan. The mission that he received was to come over and cooperate with the Empress, and he didn't know that Yihua had been here before. He squatted down and touched the black dust on the ground. These could be considered as bone ashes. Why were they black in color? That was because the godly might that Zishan released had burned them to such a state. It was as if an atomic bomb had exploded, turning them into charcoal in an instant. Ying Jingshan touched it and licked it. It tasted like caramel. It seemed like this elder had diabetes. Qingye took a look at the black marks on the ground. They were arranged in a very orderly manner, then said faintly, "I have a bold idea." "And?" Donghuang Baiji responded. "Ji family should have been exterminated," Qingye said gravely. Ying Jingshan stood up and said gravely, "Indeed, these black figures should be Ji family's people. Furthermore, looking at the sequence of events, they should have been in the middle of some kind of meeting at that time and were instantly killed by someone." Donghuang Baiji said gravely, "But who is capable of instantly exterminating Ji family? No matter what, he is still one of the three giants." Qingye pulled onto Donghuang Baiji's sleeve and said in a low voice, "Baiji, do you think that it might be? You are talking about that group of people?" Donghuang Baiji understood what Qingye meant. "Right now, only that group of people is the biggest suspect. Your Majesty, the two of you are still stepping on two corpses." Ying Jingshan smiled faintly, and his expression was very respectful. With the two madams present, how could he not be respectful? Qingye and Donghuang Baiji slightly shifted their footsteps. "Why are these two shadows here?" Ying Jingshan asked in confusion. Donghuang Baiji said gravely, "I'm afraid that this is Ji family's family head, Ji Zizhen. As for the other one, it might be either Ji or Ji Ting." The three of them frowned. This wasn't a good thing. The Ji family was such a huge family, but it had been annihilated in an instant. If not for the fact that the house was broken, he would have thought that the entire Ji clan had escaped. "You guys, look over here." Qingye cried out in surprise and pointed at the place where Yihua was originally sitting. Donghuang Baiji took a look at her surroundings. According to the arrangement of the seats, there should be people sitting around here as well. However, this place was completely clean, and there was no black figure at all. Ying Jingshan walked to the surroundings and looked around. Suddenly, he shouted, "I found something here." The two women walked over and saw a thin layer of black shadow. This was Ji, who had turned into human skin. "The chair is there." Qingye cried out in surprise. When Yihua left, he didn't wipe his butt clean. To be more precise, his subordinates didn't arrange the crime scene properly. Ying Jingshan moved the chair to this clean place, then sat on it and asked, "There might have been someone sitting here." No one dared to move, only Ji Zizhen, Ji, and Ji Ting dared to resist, and in the end, they all died. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji nodded their heads. In Jingshan's deduction is indeed correct, but we don't have any direct evidence to prove it. Don't move. Qingye suddenly shouted out. In Jingshan immediately stiffened. What is your wife trying to do? Qingye could be seen squatting down, then using her slender hand, she took out something from the crevice of the limestone. Donghuang Baiji took a look. The two women asked confusedly, "This is cigarette ash." Yihua was not far from dying. In Jingshan said gravely, "It seems like this person is a smoker." After finished speaking, I feel that something is amiss. It seems like every time I see His Honor smoking, and to instantly annihilate Ji family, other than His Honor, how many people would be able to do that? In Jingshan's expression suddenly changed. His Honor didn't ask me to come here to cooperate with him, he asked me to come here to wipe his butt. I must not let the two madams find out about this. However, I have also provided countless clues to His Honor. I'm done for. In Jingshan, did you recall something? Donghuang Baiji asked gravely. In Jingshan's expression didn't look good, seemingly as if he had discovered something. Nope, I smoke when I have nothing to do. In Jingshan could be considered to be an experienced actor, and he reacted very quickly. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji took a look at each other, and the first person that popped up in their mind was actually Yihua. It must be said that a woman's senses are too scary, especially for two such powerful women, their intuition is even sharper. Could it be that the two of you didn't sense a trace of godly might? In Jingshan said gravely. That serious look on his face made it seem as if he was saying a fact. In actuality, In Jingshan was just trying to change the topic, but In Jingshan's guess was right, a deity had indeed been here. Qingye asked in a low voice, "What does a deity smell like?" It's the smell that's coming from your body. Donghuang Baiji said sneakily. The smell that's coming from my body. Qingye wrinkled her brows and took a sniff. My body is rather fragrant. Donghuang Baiji laughed lightly. Qingye, it's the godly might that's coming from your bloodline, that smell. Right now, only Qingye was able to try to sense the godly might, because only her bloodline could be considered to be pure. In Jingshan was a bit flustered. I didn't manage to comprehend His Honor's meaning. If something were to happen to me, the entire Ing family would be done for, just like Ji family. Baiji, there is indeed the smell of a deity. Qingye opened her beautiful eyes and said gravely. In Jingshan was endlessly astonished, and Donghuang Baiji was the same as well. Did a deity finally come? If that's the case, everything will be fine. Donghuang Baiji said faintly, the deity discovered that Ji family was massacring the Ing family, and thus, the deity came over to mete out punishment. This seat might be the seat that the deity is sitting on. The two did not refute Donghuang Baiji's words. It's been 1,000 years. The deity has appeared again. In Jingshan tightly wrinkled his brows. The appearance of a deity is not a good thing. Donghuang Baiji said confusedly, why didn't the deity appear back then when our two families were at war? Perhaps that was a normal challenge, and Ji family had incurred the wrath of the deity. In Jingshan explained. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji silently nodded their heads. Thinking back to the video, it is possible that the deity appeared and exterminated Ji family. Qingye asked curiously, after exterminating Ji family, the deity left. Donghuang Baiji and In Jingshan shook their heads, expressing that they didn't know. All of the people in the lobby have turned into black shadows, but where are the corpses of the other people? Qingye asked confusedly. At the very least, there are over 10,000 people in Ji family. Suddenly, sounds of discussions could be heard from outside the lobby. Chapter 297. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji also flew into the sky, and In Jingshan followed behind them. Overlooking the entire Ji family from above, it was a completely different visual effect. The entire Ji family's building was full of holes, and there were caves everywhere. On the roof, walls, even the ground. It was so dense that it made one's whole body numb, like a pockmarked face. Qingye seemed to be not used to this kind of scene. After landing on the ground, Qingye stopped looking at the scene and began retching. Upon seeing that, Donghuang Baiji immediately came over and held on to Qingye. What happened? Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? It's a little disgusting. Donghuang Baiji comforted Qingye, causing Qingye to feel much better. I feel that this matter isn't that simple, Qingye said faintly. Donghuang Baiji also had the same feeling. I even have a feeling that this deity has been exterminated. Yeah, I keep feeling that we are surrounded by a conspiracy, Qingye muttered. Donghuang Baiji did not refute this point, because she also had the same feeling. The news that the Ji family in the south had been exterminated by the deities soon spread across the entire cultivation world. The god who had disappeared for 1,000 years had actually appeared again, and as soon as he arrived, he destroyed the Ji family. It felt so good. This Ji clan deserved to die. It was good that the deities were destroyed, it was so satisfying. Yihua was praised by a hateful human, and it was unknown what kind of mood he was currently in. Right now, Yihua was currently listening to Wei Chang's report, and the more he listened, the more unhappy he became. I, the Supreme Overlord, do not need your praise. I, the Supreme Overlord, need your fear and panic. Your Honor, what about absolute heaven? Wei Chang asked puzzledly. If he wants to go to the north to gather information, then let him be. On the other hand, Yihua didn't mind. He was rather at ease with his subordinates. However, absolute heaven went to Purple Gold City. That place is very deep, it would be easy for him to expose his identity. Yihua laughed lightly. All right, Zhu Tian will be able to handle it. Also, his identity this time around is a bit interesting, Zijin University's Hypnosis Department professor. That's good, then. This is absolute heaven's specialty, Wei Chang felt relieved. Yihua asked, what happened to that Little Red and Zishan? According to Little Green's report, the two of them were very respectful and nothing happened. Ask them to take the wedding photos tomorrow, and then prepare for the wedding in a few days. Zizi is about to go to school, so get everything done before that. Yihua felt that Zizi would definitely cause trouble, and at that time, he would definitely have to take care of her. This was also the worry of a big boss. Luckily, the others were rather quiet, and Yihua was the only one who was worried about Zizi. Understood. Find a time to add some fuel to the fire, just like how I did to Sun Fang last time. Sometimes, pressure is needed. Right now, Yihua had quite a bit of experience in this aspect. If Leisure Bar were to close down, I might be able to open up a matchmaking agency. Even if the matchmaking agency is from a different race, humans and snakes are not just a dream. Yes. Your Honor, there is one more thing I want to report. Almost all of the southern family heads have already knelt down, and all of their family members are currently fighting for the position of family head. The most important thing is that Dry Zen Sect and Traceless Pavilion are missing. Right now, only Cloud Sect has sent out all of their disciples to seal demons in the secular world. There are also some loose cultivators that have joined in, but the number of people that have joined in is still not enough. Those demons and devils seem to know about this, and they have been appearing frequently these few days. Your Honor, what do you think of us? Yihua took out a stick of cigarette, looked at the city in front of him, and said faintly, I don't care about other things, but this long and city is the place that I, the Overlord, am going to spend my vacation. Yes. Subordinate understands. Recently, Long and City was not very peaceful. Cloud Sect was originally located at the border of Long and City, but because a lot of their disciples were sent out to seal demons, the place in Long and City became vacant. Wei Chang planned to cancel Death Mage and Sun Fang's honeymoon. The Green and Red brothers were definitely going to make a move as well. After all, Long and City was so big. After cutting off the connection with Wei Chang, Yihua slowly stood up and raised his walking stick. Right now, he was acting as a disabled person who was in his recovery period. Daddy, quickly come and look at the news. Dong Huangli could be seen being dressed up by Qing Yutong. Dong Huangli was already so beautiful when she was young, just how beautiful would she be when she grows up? As expected of the descendant of someone with super strong genes. Yihua asked faintly, "What's wrong?" "Daddy, quickly come and look at the news, you will know after you look at it." Dong Huangli pulled her father into her office, and right now, the news of Long and City was currently being broadcasted on the television. According to the news of this station, a large number of dead fishes appeared on the surface of Huajiang today, and the scene was very shocking. The following is the scene of the scene. Yihua looked at the Huajiang that was being broadcasted on the television. In actuality, Huajiang was just a few streets away from Huajiang, and Qingye had gone out for a walk at night before. "Daddy, the fishes are so pitiful." Dong Huangli pulled onto the corner of her father's clothes and looked at her father pitifully. Yihua rubbed onto his daughter's head and said faintly, "Ali, all living things will die one day. Some will die a worthy death, while some will be slaughtered by others." Then, were all of the fishes slaughtered by others? Dong Huangli couldn't help but ask. Yihua nodded his head. All of the fishes' souls were sucked dry. Don't look at how little the fishes' souls are. With such a large amount of fishes' souls, there were still quite a lot of souls. Dong Huangli could be seen snorting. "Ali wants to go and beat up bad guys." Yihua immediately held onto his forehead. "Why do all of my women like to go and beat up bad guys? Can't I go and beat up good guys? Ali is still young right now, she can't go and beat up bad guys." Yihua guided attentively. Dong Huangli pouted her small mouth and said indignantly, "But Ali is just angry, these fishes don't even have any aggressive nature, why are there people bullying them?" "Ali, don't be angry, Daddy will go and teach the bad guys a lesson, alright?" Yihua didn't have any other choice. "I can't let my daughter go and become a hero too. If that happens, from now on, I will be the only one left in the house, and the 3 women will have to go and become heroes outside." Dong Huangli pouted her small mouth and said, "All right then, Ali will hide her strength first. When Daddy is no longer able to handle the situation, Ali will then go and fight. This little fellow is still hiding her strength." Yihua pinched onto his daughter's cheeks. "I'll just leave this matter to Wei Chang. After all, a mere demon isn't enough for me to take action." "Daddy, recently, Ali found a good cartoon," Dong Huangli said quietly. Yihua carried his daughter into his embrace and asked curiously, "What cartoon is it?" "Popeye, is it good?" Yihua asked curiously. "It's good. Ali has already watched 2 episodes of it, hurry up and show it to Daddy." And, just like what Qingye had imagined back then, her husband was watching cartoons together with their child, and the way he was watching the cartoons with great interest. However, as his wife, Qingye, and Dong Huangbaiji, were currently in charge of the wedding, and they would only be able to return in a few days. Yihua had already prepared a box of keyboards. "If you have the capabilities, then don't come back." Wei Chang arranged all of the orders that his honor gave to his subordinates. This kind of small matter would naturally be left to his subordinates to do. Right now, I still have to continue looking for strategies on how to push down little Tang. She is going to start school soon, and at that time, the chances of us meeting each other will be even lesser. At a certain parking lot in Long and City, 2 kinds of sounds were currently coming out from a small QQ car. Bu, cool cool cool, clap clap clap. Chapter 298. They were precisely Death Mage and Sun Fang. It wasn't easy for them to not bother about family, and the two went to the South Pole to have their honeymoon. But after a few days, they were suddenly called back. Can you lower your voice? I can't hear you. Sun Fong shouted out coquettishly. You keep saying bu all day long, and you don't even know how to ask his honor for a body. Death Mage turned his volume to the maximum. GGG, Imperial Translation, I like big. This infuriated Sun Fong, and she began to attack. The small QQ car began to shake violently, and it even made a squeaking sound, which was particularly pleasing to the ear in the empty underground parking lot. After a long time, the two of them got out of the car. Sun Fong said angrily, if you don't go get a body, don't touch me in the future. GGG, Royal Translation, you're saying that I touched you. Shameless. Just from his tone, Sun Fong could tell that he was a stubborn person. Sun Fong snorted. Let's see who can endure loneliness. The Death Mage had been patient for over 1,000 years. In terms of determination, the Death Mage was undeniably the strongest. Sun Fong looked at her phone. I don't look ugly. Why aren't there any fans following me? Sun Fong was very distressed when she saw that she didn't have 2 digits of fans. GGG. Royal Translation, you want to gain more fans with that brain of yours. It would be good if it didn't drop. Sun Fong glared at him. Are you bad-mouthing me again? Death Mage turned his head around and looked to the side, as if saying that he didn't say anything earlier. I want to shoot a video. Help me do it well. If the number of fans doesn't break 2 digits, you can ask for this body. I've had enough of being a widow. Sun Fong snorted. Other people's girlfriends were all living blissful lives, but she had a boyfriend that she couldn't touch. Don't worry, there's still Tang Wei with you. Good friends play together. If Death Mage had eyes, he would definitely have a look of disdain on his face. I'm not going to look for his honor to ask for my body. He pointed his phone at Sun Fong. Sun Fong smiled sweetly, and her beautiful eyes curved into crescent moons. She shook her little fists and even played with her hair. After shooting, Sun Fong immediately took it to see the effect and was very satisfied. Is it beautiful? Sun Fong asked curiously. GGG. Royal Translation, the ugliest in history, but I like ugly people. After adding the background music, Sun Fong posted the video. Damn skeleton, you better get a body for me. Otherwise, you're finished. I won't top up your money. Death Mage spread out his hands, indicating that it doesn't matter. In any case, I am not the one who is anxious. Seeing Death Mage's attitude, Sun Fong became angry. Throwing her handbag onto Death Mage's bosom, Sun Fong walked forward angrily. Kakik. This was not the voice that Death Mage let out. A man with a ferocious face walked out from the corner. There was blood at the corner of his mouth. It was obvious that he had been possessed by a monster. A woman and a skeleton. What's the relationship between you two? The man arched his body and raised his ferocious face. Sun Fong shouted, it has nothing to do with you. According to his honor's order, I will send you to the Western Paradise. With a flash of silver light, the man's head rolled down to Death Mage's feet. This mage likes such simple and rough women. Your strength is not bad. Unfortunately, this is not my real body. You guys can take your time to find it, haha. The head laughed arrogantly, and it sounded very strange in the empty parking lot. Death Mage raised his leg. Bang! The watermelon exploded. Kakik. Imperial Translation, ignorant demon, to actually disturb his honor's vacation, you are truly reckless. Death Mage hugged onto Sun Fong's waist and prepared to drive away. Don't touch me, I said that I won't let you touch me, you can't make me go back on my words. Death Mage straightforwardly carried Sun Fong on his shoulder. What a dishonest woman. Right now, at the shore of Huajiang, two figures were walking on the sidewalk. One was walking in front of the other, and the distance between them was always maintained within 5 meters. They were precisely Little Red and Zishan. In actuality, this atmosphere was very similar to a date. Zishan, who was walking at the back, was looking at Huajiang. The cool breeze was blowing onto her beautiful hair, and her slender fingers were twirling her beautiful hair. Little Brother Red stopped his footsteps and looked at Zishan, who was behind him, with a peculiar gaze. Suddenly, I don't want Zishan to be my wife anymore, because with my current appearance, I am not worthy of her. Are you tired from walking? Little Brother Red asked concernedly. Zishan shook her head. How about we go back then? You don't want to catch demons anymore? Zishan asked lightly. Little Brother Red remained silent. Zishan said faintly, catching demons is also part of my duty, let's go downstream and take a look. This was the first time that Little Brother Red heard Zishan say such a long sentence, and he was very happy. The two walked towards the downstream of Huajiang. There was a patch of reeds here, and of course, there were also mosquitoes here. Little Brother Red naturally wouldn't let Zishan get bitten by the mosquitoes. Zishan didn't say anything, and the two walked towards the depths of the reeds. Shoo! Little Brother Red suddenly stopped and signaled Zishan to not make any sound, because he sensed an aura ahead of him. The mission that Uncle Wei gave me today was to get rid of the demon that was sucking the fish essence. If I'm not wrong, that person should be the person who is not far away from us. Right now, the surface of the river was completely red, and a bloody aura was gathering on the man's hands. Chapter 299. Zishan, who was hiding within the reeds, heard Little Brother Red's words. I didn't expect that this little man would have such a side to him. In Zishan's eyes, Little Brother Red was that kind of man, that kind of weak man, who would get nervous whenever he saw her, just like a child who had yet to grow up. However, this man would only act like this in front of the person he likes. If he didn't like her, he would be so mature that he could even be her father. Looking at Little Brother Red, who was in front of him, the man's gaze became cold. I never kill a nameless person. What is your name? Little Brother Red's gaze gradually became firm as he said gravely, I am Yi Hong. I am Fiend King, I went to hell. Remember to report my name. If you know that I was the one who killed you, those brats won't make things difficult for you. Fiend King laughed loudly. Yi Hong swallowed his saliva, then shouted out, all right. I won't bully you, I will let you punch me first. Zishan, who was hiding within the reeds, felt helpless. You are giving way to the enemy, but why would the enemy give way to you? You are truly stupid. Fiend King seemed to have heard the funniest joke in the world as he laughed loudly, laughing at my ignorance. To actually let me punch you first, how could you possibly withstand a punch from me? A punch from me is able to split open a mountain, a punch from me is able to send you flying into outer space. Brat, I have lived for a few hundred years, but I have never seen someone who can act cool like you. Fiend King stopped laughing, and his gaze became cold. Although what Little Brother Red said was laughable, it was also disrespectful to me. Zishan also felt the same way. I have lived for 1,000 years, but I have never seen someone who can act cool like you. Yi Hong said seriously, I am not acting cool, I don't even know how to act cool. Fiend King, Zishan, what Yi Hong said was the truth. Why would I know how to act cool? When I act cool, I am even more awesome than my big brother. Fiend King frowned, since you are going to let me punch you first, I will let you see. What is called a punch? Yi Hong was just being honest, he wasn't stupid, he was clear about his own strength, if not, he wouldn't have said such words. As for why he let Fiend King punch him first, it was because he didn't want to feel guilty. At least, if Fiend King punched him, he would be able to fight back. Zishan, who was hiding within the reeds, scolded Yi Hong for being stupid. I have never seen such a stupid man before. Fiend King shouted, power of the ghost god. A red light appeared on Fiend King's body, and the muscles on his body increased by a few notches. His veins were thick and long. Ghost energy. Fiend King shouted once again. His thick muscles gradually shrunk, but this was not a reduction in strength, but a compression of strength. The ground started to tremble slightly. The ground beneath Fiend King's feet could no longer support itself and started to collapse. A huge spiritual pressure spread out from Fiend King's body, causing the reeds to be blown away. At the same time, Zishan's beautiful figure appeared in front of Fiend King. What a beautiful woman, I'll kill this man later and snatch this woman. How could Zishan, whose cultivation had been sealed, withstand such spiritual pressure? Blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth. Yi Hong cursed at herself for being stupid and immediately stood in front of Zishan, withstanding all of the pressure, allowing Zishan, who was behind her, to feel a bit more comfortable. Zishan knitted her brows and looked at Yi Hong, who was in front of her. Ghostly fist. Fiend King didn't care too much. He gathered all of his spiritual power at one point, and a majestic aura immediately erupted out. A huge ghost actually appeared behind Fiend King, and the ghost seemed like it was going to devour the two people in front of it. Zishan let out a light sigh. If I die, then I die. Boom. A huge sound suddenly erupted, just like the rumbling of thunder. The fist solidly landed onto Yi Hong's chest. Immediately, dust flew all about, the ground caved in, and cracks appeared on the ground. In an instant, all of the reeds were uprooted from the ground. Fiend King let out a breath. If this fist of mine were to land, even the Emperor would have a hole punched through his body. It's my turn now, right? Yi Hong patted onto his chest and said. Fiend King's brows wrinkled. Looking at Yi Hong, who didn't move in the slightest, he mumbled, just who are you? I am just a foolish fellow that came from Dongming village. It is my honor to be recognized by your honor, and also. Yi Hong didn't continue speaking. Zishan, who was behind Yi Hong, finally knew. So that Wei Chang didn't lie, he is indeed very powerful. Impossible. You are definitely the Ghost King from hell. Are you here to capture me? I won't go back. After finished speaking, Fiend King flew towards the horizon. If I don't run now, when will I ever run? Yi Hong still didn't have much combat experience. Seeing that Fiend King was running away, Yi Hong immediately flew towards the horizon and chased after Fiend King. Ah! A painful and tender cry rang out. Yi Hong, who was flying in the sky, scolded himself for being an idiot, then immediately landed beside Zishan. Are you all right? Just now, the distance between the two of them was at least 20 meters, and this distance was already the furthest distance that Zishan could endure. Pfft! Zishan sprayed out a mouthful of blood, and her face instantly became pale, and her delicate body slowly fell onto the ground. Yi Hong hurriedly held on to Zishan. Yi Hong didn't know what to do. Zishan, what happened to you? Back then, when Zishan was testing the waters, she felt that her body was going to explode when she took a step further than 10 meters. Just now, she had gone further than 10 meters. From this, it could be seen how serious the consequences would be. Blood unceasingly flowed out from the corner of Zishan's mouth, and her delicate body gradually became ice cold. Yi Hong was already scared silly by the situation in front of her. I'll bring you to see his honor. His honor definitely has a way. Don't. Zishan pulled onto Yi Hong's wrist. Yi Hong sat on the ground, and Zishan was lying on his embrace. Blood unceasingly flowed out from the corner of Zishan's mouth. Zishan could feel that all of her internal organs had dried up, and some of them had even ruptured, and there was no hope left for Zishan. In fact, this was also good. Lying on Yi Hong's embrace, Zishan looked at the stars in the sky with her beautiful eyes. The secular world's night sky sure is beautiful. I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose just now. Yi Hong wiped off the blood that flowed out from the corner of Zishan's mouth in a flurry, but no matter how he wiped, he was unable to wipe off the blood. Yi Hong kept on saying that he was sorry. Why did I act so impulsively just now? I didn't think about Zishan. The distance between me and Zishan is going to take away Zishan's life. Yi Hong, this isn't your fault, you have freed me. Zishan seemed to have regained her last radiance, her gaze became much clearer, and the corner of her mouth seemed to have an arc of freedom. Tears of regret flowed out from the corner of Yi Hong's eyes, and his lips slightly trembled. I hate myself, why am I so stupid? Zishan could be heard mumbling, death didn't have anything to do with me in the past, and now that I think about the things that happened in the past, death doesn't seem to be that important anymore. Vanity, power, wealth, these were all things that I pursued in the past, but now, hee. After finished speaking, an aura of death enveloped Zishan's body. Yi Hong didn't want Zishan to die, but right now, he didn't have any way to save Zishan. Zishan slowly stretched out her hand and lightly wiped off Yi Hong's tears, then said calmly, You are much better than all of them, I didn't choose the wrong person. In the future, you will definitely be able to find a woman that is better than me. In actuality, Yi Hong really wanted to say, I don't want to find another woman, I only want to find you, that's all. However, no matter what, he wasn't able to say those words out loud. Zishan, who was looking at the night sky, slowly spat out her last sentence, so beautiful. Zishan's beautiful face slowly drooped down, and Yi Hong hurriedly held on to Zishan. Zishan's face was slightly trembling, and Yi Hong tightly hugged onto Zishan's body. Yi Hong hugged onto Zishan's ice-cold body and let out a deep howl of grief. Although Zishan doesn't like me, I like her. Ah. Chapter 300. Yi Hua's brows immediately wrinkled. Wei Chang had also sensed it, Big Brother Green had also sensed it. Basically, all of the cultivators in Long and City had sensed a terrifying aura hovering in the sky. Yi Zizi and Qin Yutong were currently playing games. Yi Zizi sighed softly. Qin Yutong asked curiously, Zizi, why are you sighing? What is love? Falling in love with someone you shouldn't like. Yi Zizi shook her head. This was probably the saddest thing in the world. Qin Yutong rolled her eyes at Yi Zizi, then looked towards the distant place where thunder and lightning were rumbling. This is indeed a man who is infatuated with love. Fuck, this baby also looks good, why aren't there any infatuated men howling at me? I, Qin Yutong, am unconvinced. Sun Fong, who was driving the QQ car, stopped by the roadside. The two of them got off the car and looked towards the place where the clouds were densely packed not far away from them. Death Mage took out a cigar, but the cigar was snatched away by Sun Fong. Can you stop smoking at such a sad time? Sun Fong said in a deep voice. Death Mage spread out his hands. I didn't expect that the little brother that my master had just accepted would be so strong. He actually managed to make a breakthrough at this moment. Skeleton, what will you do if I die? Sun Fong suddenly asked. Death Mage slightly went into a daze, then stretched out his hand and hugged Sun Fong into his embrace. I will never let something like this happen in my entire life. Yi Hua opened the window, then lit up a cigarette and looked into the distance. Zishan actually died. Why did she suddenly die? For Lil Red to actually let out such a wail, it seemed that something had happened to it. However, this was also good. Right now, Lai Gu was lying beside the swimming pool and mumbled, Sigh, what a pity. The escaping Fiend King turned around and looked at the layers of dark clouds. He was confused. What was going on? I've already punched you once, so there's no need for you to be so angry. At the venue, Yi-hong carried Zishan, and her gaze was filled with killing intent. In an instant, he disappeared from his original spot. Fiend King was still running for his life. That aura just now was too terrifying. He didn't expect that an ordinary person could actually have such a powerful strength. He no longer dared to look back and flew towards the horizon. What is that black dot? Fiend King was confused. As he got closer, Fiend King hurriedly pulled the handbrake. Yi-hong, who was carrying Zishan, appeared in front of Fiend King. Right now, Yi-hong's entire body was emitting out a black aura, and his pair of eyes were even darker black. His expression was so calm that it was a little scary. Most probably, even Big Brother Green had never seen this version of Little Brother Red before. What do you want to do? The Fiend King asked in a deep voice. That beauty was still alive just a moment ago. How did she die in the blink of an eye? Why did you run? Yi-hong asked calmly. If he didn't run away and let me punch him, Zishan wouldn't have died. However, it was because he ran away. For the sake of chasing after him, Zishan died. Big brother, you are stronger than me. If I don't run, should I just wait to be killed by you? The Fiend King had a look of, shouldn't I run? Am I supposed to just stand there and let you kill me? Yi-hong placed Zishan's corpse in the air and stared at Fiend King. You must take responsibility for her death. Big brother, I didn't even touch her. Why should I take responsibility? You are being unreasonable. The Fiend King wanted to cry but had no tears. He had lived for hundreds of years, and this was the first time he had encountered such a thing. Yi-hong shouted angrily, I'm being unreasonable. As he spoke, he sent out a punch. The speed of this punch was so fast that Fiend King did not even have time to react. His entire body was sent flying like a cannonball, smashing into the ground, creating a huge crater. Boom! 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 Zishan's body was lightly floating in the air, and on her face was a smile of relief. However, below her body, rumbling sounds could be heard, and mountains were collapsing one after another. Right now, Fiend King had long been beaten to death by Yi-hong. If he didn't run away, nothing would have happened. Little brother. In actuality, Big Brother Green had been here for a long time, but he didn't stop his little brother from venting his anger. However, right now, he still couldn't help but shout out. Fiend King, who was below Yi-hong, was only left with skin and flesh. This scapegoat was too undeserved. Yi-hong turned his head around and looked towards his big brother, then shouted out hoarsely, Big brother. Big Brother Green let out a light sigh, then pulled his little brother up. Yi-hong immediately hugged onto his big brother and cried out loudly, Big brother, I caused Zishan's death. Big Brother Green patted onto his little brother's back and consoled, Big brother understands, but you definitely didn't do it on purpose. Big brother, I was careless. I have to take full responsibility for Zishan's death. Big brother, you should call the police. Big Brother Green, is the detention center even able to imprison someone like you who can fly up and down freely? Big brother knows that you like her, but the dead cannot be brought back to life. My condolences. Big Brother Green patted onto his little brother's shoulder. This is truly fate making fools of people. I heard that His Honor is going to let them take their wedding photos tomorrow, and in a few days' time, they are going to get married. Yi-hong said gravely, Big brother, now I finally understand why the male lead in the television would be so sad. My heart is in so much pain. Little brother, back then, Big brother was cuckolded, my heart was in so much pain as well. However, life still has to continue, the earth won't stop for a single second just because you are sad. Big Brother Green used a self-mocking method to console his little brother. Big brother, I feel that his honor definitely has a way, let's go and beg his honor. Right now, all of Yi Hong's hopes were placed on his honor. Big brother Green said gravely, Yi Hong. Calm down a bit, have you forgotten who was the one who set down those restrictions? Even if she doesn't die now, 2 months later, you will still have to kill her with your own hands. If that's the case, I would rather die in her place. You are fucking crazy. Big brother Green shouted out angrily. Big brother, I am already 25 years old, and I have never had a girlfriend before. Although she doesn't like me, I am willing to sacrifice myself for her. Yi Hong looked at her big brother and shouted out. It wasn't easy to like someone, and it was even more difficult to silently sacrifice oneself for someone. Looking at his little brother's determined attitude, Big brother Green was actually speechless. Immediately, he raised his hand, wanting to slap his little brother awake. Stop dreaming. What can you get by sacrificing yourself like this? Will she even shed a single tear for you? Yi Hong didn't cower, she looked at her big brother who raised his hand. Gradually, Big brother Green lowered his hand. You are already a grown-up, I can't control you anymore. Big brother, can you accompany me to look for his honor? Towards his little brother's request, Big brother Green nodded his head in the end. Youngsters, for the sake of love, their brains will burn. In actuality, Wei Chang had already appeared beside Zishan's corpse. A man cried for you, killed for you, and even saved you at all costs. As a deity, do you feel touched? Wei Chang asked faintly. Zishan's primordial spirit could be seen gradually appearing in the air. Zishan's primordial spirit was very weak, and it seemed like it would disappear at any moment. Zishan had seen everything that happened just now, and she didn't expect that Yi Hong would act like this. If she said that she wasn't touched, it would be a bit fake. Even as a deity, Zishan had also fantasized about being protected by the man she loved. However, Zishan had never tasted this kind of feeling before. Chapter 301. Among the gods, men were high and mighty, especially men with power and influence. Women were their foil. Not to mention 3,000 beauties, there were even several hundred people in the harem of the princes. If they had to take turns, a woman could only enjoy sex once a year. If she suddenly died one day, the princes might not even remember her name. Apart from those who were favored, for example, even if he was favored, he would still be envied. Compared to that prince, Yi Hong might be lacking a lot, but he also had his outstanding points. Tonight, Yi Hong had taught himself a lesson. Perhaps people really couldn't be judged by their appearances. Have you thought about it? Wei Chang asked. Think about what? 2 more months. Zishan did not say anything. Initially, she had thought that it would be good for her to free herself from these people, so that she would not be threatened by these people. But when she saw how sad Yi Hong was just now, she wanted to comfort him. She really wasn't worth it. Wei Chang smiled and said, You've never been in love before, right? Zishan, in the past, I have never talked about it before, and his honor is the same as well. However, only after talking about it did I know that the feeling of wanting to treat the other party well and live together with her properly is truly a very good feeling. I feel that his honor is very generous towards his subordinates, and love is very sweet. His honor is willing to share this sweetness with his subordinates, but do you think that your deities will share it with you? Yi Hua, who was currently smoking beside the windowsill, choked on the smoke. I, the Supreme Overlord, just wanted to, forget it, I, the Supreme Overlord, just wanted to share the taste of love with my subordinates. Seeing that Zishan didn't say anything, Wei Chang continued, This little Red's family condition isn't very good, he doesn't have any education, and he doesn't know how to speak. When he was young, he had been hanging out with Big Brother. Although the two of them aren't blood-related brothers, they are closer than blood-related brothers. Actually, the reason why I said so much is because I want you to understand one thing. For a man to be willing to sacrifice himself for you, it really isn't easy. You have two choices right now. 1. With her primordial spirit dissipating, Little Red would naturally slowly accept this reality. Of course, she would also live in guilt. 2. Live on, perhaps for 2 months, perhaps for the rest of your life. It's up to you. Looking at Yi Hong, who was emotional, Zishan remained silent. After a long time, Zishan slowly said, Alright, I know what you mean. Zishan's expression sank. I haven't even said anything, and you already know what I am going to say. Who are you trying to fool? But it was good that he didn't say it out loud. It's a common problem for gods to want to save face. Then I'll help you again. Wei Chang smiled and shook his head. Zishan pouted coquettishly and said, Who wants face? At this moment, the green and red brothers were flying towards them. Both of them saw Wei Chang. Yi Hong immediately knelt in front of Wei Chang and begged, Uncle Wei, can you save Zishan? Zishan, who was standing beside Wei Chang, had a complicated expression on her pretty face. Why are you doing this? I can't save her, Wei Chang said lightly. Yi Hong suddenly felt powerless. Even Uncle Wei couldn't do anything. But you can save her. Wei Chang's words immediately pulled Yi Hong from hell to heaven. Even Zishan, who was in her nascent divinity form, was shocked. Knowing that there was a chance to save Zishan, Yi Hong became very excited. Uncle Wei, what should I do? Wei Chang lightly said, That depends on how much you are willing to pay. Wei Chang thought to himself, so this is how it feels to do this kind of thing. No wonder his honor likes it so much, this is indeed very interesting. His honor had successfully led Wei Chang astray. No matter what, I am willing to pay. Yi Hong said firmly. Big Brother Green let out a sigh. First love has this kind of magical power, youngsters are completely unable to resist this kind of attack. To save her, you might lose half of your life force, are you still willing to do it? Wei Chang asked gravely. Yi Hong's face became joyful, only half. Can I give her a bit more? I want her to live a bit longer. What simple words, want her to live a bit longer. Wei Chang let out a sigh. Seems like I spoke too lightly, if I had known earlier, would have been more vicious. His honor has done well, I have to learn more from him in the future. Hearing Yi Hong's words, Zishan smiled. Want me to live a bit longer? I have already lived for too long, but this sentence sounds so simple and honest, what a fool. Little Red, you have to know one thing, even if you save her, she might not appreciate your kindness. Wei Chang said faintly with his hands behind his back, seemingly imitating his honor. Zishan, who was at the side, glared ferociously at Wei Chang. I am not as cold-blooded as you. Yi Hong naturally knew, but she still didn't hesitate. Uncle Wei, I know that Zishan will not like me, but I only want her to live, to be able to take a look at her every day is enough. Wei Chang let out a deep sigh, and Zishan, who was at the side, had a grave expression on her face. Uncle Wei, I have another request. Yi Hong said again. Speak. Uncle Wei, please keep this matter a secret, I don't want Zishan to know about it. Wei Chang and Big Brother Green were puzzled. Such a heroic deed, if I don't tell her about it, how am I supposed to obtain the heart of the beauty? Big Brother Green wished he could raise his hand and slap Zishan. You have already sacrificed so much, if you don't let others know about it, you must be stupid. Why? Wei Chang was very curious about what Yi Hong was thinking. Zishan was also very curious about Yi Hong's answer. Yi Hong scratched the back of his head embarrassedly and said while stammering, I'm afraid. I'm afraid that Zishan will laugh at me. Everyone was speechless. What kind of logic is this? Why would Zishan laugh at you? This is a typical male chauvinist, wanting face. This is the type of person who likes someone to death, but is unable to say it out. Furthermore, I don't want the other party to know about how much I have sacrificed, fearing that the other party would laugh at me after knowing about it. Therefore, I might as well keep it a secret. Wei Chang looked towards Zishan, who was at the side, and discovered that Zishan's expression wasn't as stiff as before. If Zishan's expression is still as cold as before after hearing what I said, there's no need to redeem her expression. Alright, I promise you that I will help you keep this secret. Wei Chang said. Yi Hong looked towards his big brother. Big Brother Green said helplessly, alright, Big Brother won't say anything. Yi Hong was able to be at ease, but little did he know that Zishan had been looking at him all this while. Uncle Wei, how do I save Zishan? Yi Hong asked excitedly. Wei Chang let out a breath. Do you remember what I taught you? Just transfer the aura into your body, and it will do. So simple. Wei Chang nodded his head with a smile. All right, I will be going back first. You two should also go back and rest early, and remember to take your wedding photos tomorrow. Yi Hong was extremely happy right now, and I understand. Little brother, go back home and save Zishan. Big Brother Green reminded. N. Yi Hong carried on to Zishan's corpse, then disappeared into the night sky together with his big brother. Yi Hua flicked away the cigarette butt, then revealed an arc on the corner of his mouth. Ollie, it's time to sleep with Daddy. Ollie, I still want to watch for a while, just a while. Dong Huangli began acting coquettishly. Chapter 302. Inside the villa, Yi Hong carried Zishan, who was gradually stiffening, and placed her on the bed. Soon after, Yi Hong lightly moved aside the hair on Zishan's forehead. So beautiful. Zishan, who was under her primordial spirit, was standing at the side. Her expression was very complicated. No one knew what she was thinking. Yi Hong stretched out her hands and was about to press it. When Zishan saw Yi Hong's action, she scolded, "Where are you going to press it?" That's right, Yi Hong was about to press it on her chest. Don't they always do this on TV? However, she did not press it. She felt that it was not good, so she retracted her hands. Zishan glared at Yi Hong. You're molesting my corpse. Right now, Yi Hong was thinking, where should I press it? It feels like I'm eating tofu wherever I press it. Looking at those white and slender hands, she swallowed her saliva and grabbed onto them. Zishan, who was at the side, frowned and did not say anything. A faint black fog came out from Yi Hong's hands and gradually spread to Zishan's arms. Very quickly, the black fog wrapped around Zishan. Xiao Yi also had this kind of black fog in his body. At that time, when his heart was pierced, he was still able to recover. From this, it could be seen how powerful this black fog was. However, this black fog was only a small passive ability of Wei Chang. Zishan's primordial spirit gradually disappeared with a complicated expression. Yi Hong did not care about anything and continued to transfer as much energy as she could into Zishan's body. The cold and delicate hand in her palm gradually warmed up. This made Yi Hong overjoyed. Uncle Wei did not lie to her, this is great. 5 minutes later, Zishan's body gradually became rosy. At the same time, she opened her eyes. When Yi Hong saw that Zishan woke up, she was so scared that she immediately let go of Zishan and retreated to the side. The two of them did not say anything. The atmosphere was very awkward. After a long time, Zishan said faintly, I'm going to take a bath. After she finished speaking, she stood up and walked into the bathroom. Yi Hong heaved a sigh of relief. I finally saved her. After making the bed on the floor, Yi Hong was very excited. After Zishan finished her bath, Yi Hong also went to take a bath. The smell of blood on her body was very heavy. In the dark bedroom, two hearts were beating slightly. Yi Hong could not sleep, and Zishan could not sleep either. After a while, Zishan said softly, "Yi Hong, thank you." Seeing that Yi Hong did not say anything, Zishan mustered up her courage and said, "Yi Hong, I know what you are thinking. I can promise you that I will be your girlfriend for 2 months, but after 2 months, I hope that you will not save me anymore. I am not worthy of you doing this for me." From the looks of it, Zishan was indeed moved by Yi Hong and was willing to be his girlfriend for 2 months. However, Zishan still refused Yi Hua's order and refused to sleep with Yi Hong. However, who knows what will happen 2 months later. At that time, wasn't Qinya still very arrogant? And right now, wasn't she still being trained by Yi Hua to be completely obedient? However, Yi Hua was, after all, Yi Hua. He was different from Yi Hong. When Zishan saw that Yi Hong did not reply even after a long time, she furrowed her eyebrows and looked at Yi Hong. Fell asleep, Zishan laughed and closed her beautiful eyes. Yi Hong, who was lying on the mattress on the floor, opened her eyes. She had heard everything just now and was actually very happy. She was so happy that she didn't know what to say. However, when she heard the latter part of the sentence, her heart sank again. Kill her. That was impossible. I owe his honor a debt of gratitude, and she is also the person I like. At most, I will go and beg his honor 2 months later. At most, I will exchange a life for a life. Early morning. Today was a good day for Yi Hong. After all, his honor had already arranged everything for her to take their wedding photos. Just thinking about it makes me a bit excited. However, the prerequisite is that I have to toss all of my worries to the back of my mind. After washing up, Yi Hong brought Zishan and walked out of the villa. Big brother naturally wouldn't be a third wheel. Zishan, what do you want to eat for breakfast? Yi Hong felt that Zishan wasn't that distant from him today. Zishan was even walking side by side with him. Zishan said unhurriedly, "Cold noodles." Hearing what Zishan said, Yi Hong became even more happy. In the past, I would just casually, all right. After arriving at the city district and alighting from the car in front of a cold noodle shop, they immediately received attention. The little brother Red today was a bit different. His face was still the same, and his hairstyle was still the same. However, after what happened last night, he seemed to have become more mature. This was a kind of qualitative change in his temperament, and he no longer looked like a loafer. In actuality, the Red and Green brothers didn't know that the aura within their bodies was slowly changing their bodies. "Boss, 2 bowls of cold noodles, 1 bowl without chili." Yi Hong shouted out. Yesterday, he had also brought Zishan to eat cold noodles, but Zishan had picked out all of the chili from the cold noodles. Therefore, today, Yi Hong became more careful. Zishan didn't have much of an expression on her face, she was very indifferent, but who knew what she was thinking in her heart? Yi Hong didn't take it to heart. It's fine to just watch, at least it's better than losing it. After finishing eating cold noodles, the two went to the studio that had been arranged beforehand. I'm afraid that I will have to spend the entire day shooting indoors. Meanwhile, when those staff members saw Zishan, they were all attracted to her. What a cold and arrogant woman, this little brother is very fortunate. Right now, Yi Hong had changed into a black suit, and he looked much more mature. His hairstyle had also changed, and he felt as if he had become a completely different person, looking extremely handsome. However, when Yi Hong saw Zishan coming out of the mirror, he couldn't help but stiffen. Although Zishan doesn't have an absolute beauty like the two madams, in my eyes, Zishan is the most beautiful woman in the world. This was the first time Zishan wore a white wedding dress, and when she saw herself in the mirror, she was a bit surprised. There are indeed a lot of fun things in the secular world. The two of you, come over here. The photographer said with a light smile. Stop looking, if I continue looking, I won't even be able to finish shooting today. Yi Hong and Zi Shan walked to the front of the set, and each stood on one side. The photographer felt very awkward. Are the two of you here to shoot wedding photos? Why are you standing so far away? Is there an air wall in the middle? The two of you, can you get a bit closer? The photographer said speechlessly. Yi Hong was very nervous. Zi Shan was also a bit nervous, and her hands were still holding on to the flowers. Seeing that the bride and groom were not moving, the photographer seemed to have sensed something and did not rush them. You, come over here. In the end, Zi Shan still called out to Yi Hong. After getting Zi Shan's permission, Yi Hong was at ease and stood at the side. But, isn't this too formal, too serious? What about on the battlefield? The groom hugged the bride and smiled. The photographer shouted out. Yi Hong didn't dare to recklessly touch Zi Shan. Hug me. Zi Shan said lightly. This caused Yi Hong's heart to beat a bit faster. Zi Shan actually wants me to hug her, my God, I'm not dreaming right. Groom, don't be embarrassed, the bride has already spoken. Yi Hong took a deep breath. This is even more nervous than cheating in exams. Yi Hong stretched out his hand and lightly hugged onto Zi Shan's slender waist, then smelled the fragrance that was being emitted out from Zi Shan's body. So, the world can really be so beautiful. The photographer said with a smile, all right. Smile. Yi Hong was nervous to the point that he couldn't smile anymore. And when Zi Shan revealed out a faint smile, even the photographer couldn't help but become dazed for a bit. Groom, the bride is already smiling, hurry up and cooperate. Chapter 303. Good, this is the smile. The photographer was very satisfied. Next, they took all kinds of photos. He would think about what would happen 2 months later. He had to seize the moment and enjoy every second of every day. Inside the bedroom on the second floor of Leisure Bar, both father and daughter had yet to wake up. Dong Wang Li's entire body was lying on her father's body, and from time to time, she would purse her small mouth. The void twisted and the two wives finally returned home. Yi Hua naturally sensed it. He slowly opened his eyes and looked at Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji with a calm expression. Dong Huangli also sat up and rubbed her big eyes. When she saw her mommy, she pouted her small mouth and helped her daddy get up. Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji were helpless. Both the elder and the younger are angry. However, upon seeing that Yi Hua was able to stand up with the support of the crutches, the two women immediately became joyous. Yi Hua, are you done? Yi Hua, can you leave now? Are you all blind? I, the Supreme Overlord, have already stood up and you all are still asking me. Yi Hua raised his walking stick and took a look at his two wives indifferently, then said calmly, Ali, accompany Daddy to buy breakfast. All right, Dong Huangli cooperated with her father very well. In actuality, the two of them had already discussed about it. If their mommy were to return, they would use this kind of method to deal with them. Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji laughed bitterly, then held on to their husband's side. Why did you come back? It's so fun outside. Yi Hua said faintly, and his tone was filled with the taste of jealousy. As expected of the vinegar king of the cultivation world, to actually be jealous of the heir. Hubby, even if it was Yi Hua who had sworn to ignore them just a second ago, he still wouldn't be able to endure the two of them acting coquettishly towards him. In the future, if you all dare to go out of the house again, you all can go and kneel on the keyboard. Yi Hua said gravely. If you have the heart to do that, we will kneel to you, Qingye smiled tenderly. This fellow is only saying it with his mouth. Yihua clicked his tongue, then prepared to go to the alley to eat Chinese jianbing. The point was not to eat the pancake, but to show off. Didn't that auntie say that I would capsize? Look at him now, his 2 wives are so obedient, and there's even a cute Ollie. Facts have proven that I am never wrong. Sure enough, when the auntie saw Yihua, she gave him a thumbs up. The auntie was convinced. Yihua was very complacent. I have finally turned the tables. Returning back to the bedroom, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji fawned on Yihua. They gave Yihua a massage, and even fed him fruits. Yihua said magnanimously, "I forgive the 2 of you." Just as he finished speaking, the slender hand on his shoulder disappeared, and the fruit was also put away. "You all." Yihua was shocked. "You guys are too realistic." While holding hands with Donghuang Baiji, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji said with a smile, "Yihua, since you are able to move now, you don't need us to serve you anymore. Let's go and look for Yutong and Zizi to eat chicken, bye-bye." After finished speaking, Yihua turned around and left. Only when the door was closed did Yihua react. What a lawless woman. Go and kneel on the keyboard for me, and you still want to act like you're eating chicken. Eat my food. A week passed by very quickly. During this week, Yihua asked the 2 women what they were doing during those few days. In the end, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji gave Yihua a rough idea of what they were doing during those few days. This caused Yihua to be very worried. Recently, I have been preparing to have another child with Baiji. After I recover, I will be able to start working. I, the Supreme Overlord, will definitely put more effort into my child. As long as I don't have another child, I will not give up. When Donghuang Baiji heard what Yihua said, she was immediately startled. Thus, Yihua's recovery speed was much faster than anyone else's. For the sake of having a child, Yihua was quite diligent. However, there was a happy event that happened today, and it was a happy event for the entire team. And that was his underling Zihong and Zishan's wedding. The 2's wedding was the outdoor kind. Originally, Yihua wanted to invite the big shots from various regions over, but since his underling said that he wanted to keep a low profile, Yihua decided to let him have his way. Other than Death Mage and Sun Fang, who were not present due to inconvenience, everyone else was present. After all, Zhu Tian had only met the 2 women not too long ago. This time, Zhu Tian turned into his original form and was carried by Yizizi. When the women saw such a cute cat, they immediately surrounded Yizizi and stroked Yizizi. This caused Zhu Tian to feel very annoyed. Today, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji were also dressed splendidly. However, they knew that they shouldn't steal the limelight from the bride. Thus, the color of their clothes was a bit plain. Lai Gu's 3 celebrities were also the same, each and every one of them was incomparably beautiful. Of course, there was also Wei Chang's little girlfriend, Tang Wei. Right now, she was also exuding a faint charm, it really made people sigh. Yihua was dressed very cautiously today, because today, he was acting as the MC. As the boss, I definitely have to host the wedding of my underlings. In the future, every time my underlings get married, I have to be like this too, only then will I be able to show the care and concern of a boss. Standing on the stage and looking at the people below, Yihua sighed with emotion. Unknowingly, there were so many more people in the team. In the past, there were always 8 people. Now, there were more than 10. There would be more and more of them in the future. Seeing that everyone's face was brimming with smiles, Yihua also revealed out a smile that was rarely seen on his face. This feeling is truly great. Let's welcome the bride and groom. Yihua stood on the stage and shouted out loudly. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji smiled helplessly. This fellow is even more excited that his little brother is getting married. All of the underlings were very envious of little brother Red. Little brother Red was actually able to get his honor to host his wedding. Just what kind of glory is this? Tang Wei was also very envious. After I graduate, I will also marry Uncle Wei Lai Gu's 3 wives were also the same. They were all envious. In actuality, the ones who were the most envious were still Qinya and Dong Huang Baiji. They are so concerned about their little brother's wedding, but why aren't they concerned about their own wedding at all? Big Brother Green turned on the music, and the wedding march started playing. Dong Huang Li could be seen walking at the front while holding onto a flower basket. Dong Huang Li's cute little face was bright red, and she seemed to be a bit nervous. Yi Hong was wearing a red suit today, and he looked very handsome. Zi Shan, who was beside Zi Shan, was holding onto Yi Hong's hand. Zi Shan was wearing a white veil on her head. Yi Hua, who was standing on the stage, felt very gratified. I didn't waste my efforts. All of the underlings also discovered that his honor's change was really big. In the past, if this kind of thing happened, Zi Shan would have been killed long ago. This kind of thing happens very often. The number of beauties that died in his honor's hands was innumerable, and even the most beautiful women were killed by his honor. And now, not only was Zi Shan not killed, his honor even gave Zi Shan a fated marriage. Don't look at it as just a small fated marriage, didn't his honor still expand his team? As for whether or not Zi Shan likes Yi Hong or not, no one knows. However, at least from the looks of it, Zi Shan doesn't seem to dislike Yi Hong at all. The two slowly walked onto the stage, and the big brother walked onto the stage while holding onto a plate with the wedding rings on it. Yi Hua coughed lightly. What I want to ask now, I hope that you all can answer truthfully. Chapter 304. Yi Hong, are you willing to marry her? No matter what happens in the future, we will stick together through life and death. Yi Hua's question was rather simple, but it directly hit the main point. How many people could live and die together? I'm willing. Yi Hong said firmly. However, Yi Hua was not satisfied and said gravely, a man's voice must be loud. Shout it out. I'm willing. Yi Hua nodded his head. As expected of my underling. Looking towards Zi Shan, Yi Hua asked gravely, Zi Shan, are you willing to marry this man in front of you? No matter what happens in the future, we will live and die together. Right now, everyone who knew what was going on was very nervous. If Zi Shan were to say that she was not willing right now, she would definitely anger his honor. Needless to say, there was no need to think too much about the consequences. In actuality, the one who was the most nervous was Yi Hong. The more she interacted with Zi Shan, the deeper they fell for each other. Furthermore, during the past few days, Zi Shan had also changed a lot. She really resembles my girlfriend a lot. At the very least, Zi Shan is no longer fierce towards me. I'm willing. Zi Shan's gentle voice rang out in the hall. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. The happy event did not turn into a bad one. Yi Hong was so excited that her lips were trembling. She was willing. She was really willing. He suddenly realized that doing anything for her was worth it. Yi Hua was also very satisfied with Zi Shan's attitude. However, Zi Shan's gaze had always been on Yi Hong. Other than Zi Shan didn't have a good impression of anyone else. Let's exchange rings. Yi Hua said with a light smile. With trembling hands, Yi Hong picked up the wedding ring and put it on Zi Shan's hand. Zi Shan appeared to be much calmer as she placed the wedding ring on Yi Hong's finger. Alright, I declare it. You two are now legally husband and wife. Yi Hua shouted out. The audience also applauded, and Big Brother Green even shed tears. Little brother had finally gotten married. Yi Hua waved his hand, indicating for everyone to quiet down, then said, "Do you want to see the groom kiss the bride?" "Your Honor, when did you become so mischievous? Wasn't he happy?" Qingye and Donghuang Baiji smiled helplessly. However, they were also able to see Yihua's change. He was no longer as cold as before, and he had become more humane. "Yes. Ali wants to see Miao." Yihua looked at Yihong and said, "You have heard everyone's thoughts, right? Don't let the girl take the initiative." Hearing that, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji were very puzzled. "What do you mean by this time? What about the last time?" However, he was quickly attracted by the atmosphere of the scene. The nervous Yihong didn't know what to say, while Zishan slowly closed her beautiful eyes. Lai Gu immediately stood on the chair and started whistling. Along with Lai Gu leading the way, everyone started heckling. Looking at this kind of scene, Yihua felt that he should hold more events like this in the future. Yihong mustered up her courage and gently hugged Zishan. She lifted the white veil and slowly lowered her head to kiss Zishan's tender and beautiful lips. Yihua couldn't help but nod his head. This is more like a man. But it was not domineering enough. The audience applauded enthusiastically. Although there weren't any big shots, everyone present could easily destroy them, especially the 4 of the 7 deadly sins. "Don't be in such a hurry to consummate your marriage, I still have a few things that I want to ask you too," Yihua said faintly. Everyone couldn't help but be curious as to what His Honor was going to ask. Wei Chang hurriedly noted down what His Honor was going to ask. In the future, His Honor will definitely have to take a test on him. Big Brother Green was also at the side, taking down notes. "Who is going to do the housework in the future?" Yihua asked. Everyone, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji rolled their eyes at Yihua. "You still have the nerve to ask? Are you afraid that you have already done the housework? In the end, aren't the 2 of us sweeping the floor while you act like a big boss?" "Me." Yihong rushed to answer. Yihua's expression sunk. Yihua asked again, "Who is going to take the express delivery?" "Me." Yihong rushed to answer again. "There's no need to ask anymore, this is the rhythm of taking care of everything." Yihua took a glare at Yihong. "Are you even a man? This kind of thing is for women to do, why are you rushing to do it?" Yihong naturally understood His Honor's meaning, "But I just want to do it." Yihua asked gravely, "Who is going to cook in the future?" "Me." Zishan said slowly. Yihong was startled, but there was happiness within the shock. Yihua was very satisfied. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji really wanted to pull their man down. "If you continue to make a fuss like this, others are going to get a divorce." "Who is going to peel the crayfish?" Yihua asked. Zishan said slowly, "Me." Yihua took a look at his little brother. Men must be domineering, if not how are they going to establish themselves in the family in the future? Little brother Red didn't understand. In actuality, Zishan didn't want Yihong to offend Yihua. After all, it wasn't worth it for Zishan to offend Yihua for herself. Meanwhile, Wei Chang and Big Brother Green took note of His Honor's question. The last event, tossing a bouquet. "Those who aren't married, come and snatch it. Whoever manages to snatch it will be the next lucky person. I will be the host of the wedding." Yihua, who was so happy, almost let it slip. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji could be seen walking up first. Yihua glared at them fiercely. "Why are you 2 coming up to join in the fun?" Qingye rolled her eyes at Yihua. "We want to get married. Right now, even your wife is going up, do the others still dare to go up?" Yihua shouted out, "Who is that, Tang Wei? Come up. Also, the 3 of you come up too. Wei Chang and Lai Gu, the 2 of you come up too. Also, Little Green, come up too." Brother-in-law, I want to come up too. Qing Yutong shouted out excitedly. Since everyone is going up, it isn't too appropriate for me to sit together with a minor, right? Yi Zizi was sucking on her lollipop while hugging onto the board Zhu Tian. It's none of your business, go to the side. Yi Hua glared at his sister-in-law. Your big sister is joining in the fun, you come up too. Qing Yutong pouted her small mouth. I don't even have a boyfriend yet. Yi Hong was very nervous. These big brothers are all standing at the back, waiting for Zishan to toss a bouquet. Meanwhile, Zishan also felt that this group of people was different. Within the seriousness, there was a hint of laughter. They seemed to be very happy together, and the smile on everyone's face was very genuine. Lai Gu shouted out loudly, "Don't snatch with me, I want to get married." Lai Gu, if you dare to snatch my bouquet, you are dead for sure. Qing Ye shouted out with a smile. Lady boss, this is the boss's order. Wei Chang laughed out loudly, Lai Gu, your boss wants to stew you. The few beauties on the stage immediately laughed endlessly. Yi Hua felt that the atmosphere was about right, and he shouted out, snatch properly, don't cheat. Everyone naturally wouldn't cheat, after all, cheating wouldn't work. With her back facing everyone, Zishan tossed the bouquet with her hands. The bouquet drew an arc in the air. Qing Ye and Dong Wang Baiji were standing too close to the front, and the bouquet was already above the two people's heads. Wei Chang and Lai Gu could be seen immediately jumping up to snatch the bouquet, and in the process of snatching the bouquet was sent flying away. Qing Yutong's eyes lit up. I can snatch the bouquet even though I'm sitting down. At this moment, a gust of wind blew over, and the bouquet actually flew towards Zhu Tian, who was in Yi Zizi's embrace. Zhu Tian's brows wrinkled, then stretched out his paw and slapped towards the bouquet. When everyone saw this, they thought, what a temperamental cat. Chapter 305. Big Brother Green didn't react for a moment, but when he did, he was excited. First, he did an impromptu Thomas spin, and the turf was almost gone. Looking at Qing Ye and Dong Huang Baiji rolling their eyes at him, Yi Hua felt that there was nothing he could do about it. Who asked the two of you to be so stupid and stand at the very front? At the end of the ceremony, everyone began to chat. The women were grouped together, and the men were grouped together. The women were all asking the bride special questions, and Tang Wei also wanted to learn a bit of experience. After that, they started to talk about cosmetics. Actually, at their level, cosmetics were actually not very useful. As for Yi Hua and the others, they weren't discussing such a small matter. Your Honor, according to Sun Fang's news, a lot of foreigners have appeared in the south, and it seems like they want to take advantage of us. Wei Chang said gravely. Everyone remained silent. If Yi Hua didn't speak, how could they possibly continue the conversation? Yi Hua drank a mouthful of champagne, then let them have it. After we are full, we will catch them all in one go. Lai Gu praised, Your Honor sure has a good plan. Just when they thought that they had succeeded, Your Honor immediately shouted at them, Your Honor is formidable. Lai Gu, you even know how to speak now. Yi Hua laughed lightly. Lai Gu scratched his chin embarrassedly. Recently, I have been reading books and gaining knowledge. That would be for the best. Knowledge is power, the two of you should also learn more. Yi Hua looked towards the Green and Red brothers and said. The Green and Red brothers naturally agreed to His Honor's request. Following His Honor, we will definitely be able to eat and drink well. Yi Hong had a look that seemed like she had something to say but didn't dare to say it. Yi Hua asked curiously, Xiao Hong, if you have something to say, just say it. Why are you stuttering like a man? Your Honor, are you able to take back that 2 months deadline? Yi Hong asked while trembling with fear. When this question came out, Wei Chang and Lai Gu's complexion immediately darkened. Even Big Brother Green also scolded me for being an idiot. You want his honor to take back what he said. Don't you want to live anymore? Or are you too full of yourself? Yi Hong knew that she had said the wrong thing. Yi Hong lowered her head and scolded herself for being an idiot in her heart. His honor is already treating me so well, and yet, I still have the cheek to raise a request. When Zishan saw that Yi Hong had her head lowered, and the other people's expressions were extremely ugly, Zishan could roughly guess what Yi Hong was talking about. Yi Hua patted on Yi Hong's shoulder, then walked towards his wives without saying anything. Lai Gu shook his head and walked away as well. This is also your wedding day. If it was any other time, his honor would definitely give you a scolding. The reason why Yi Hua patted on Little Brother Red's shoulder was because he wanted to tell Little Brother Red that I, the Supreme Overlord, can bestow, and can also take back. Don't forget your place. Xiao Hong, don't beg his honor for this matter anymore, if not, the consequences will be very serious. Wei Chang said gravely. Right now, in this kind of situation, Zishan could only save herself and get pregnant at the fastest speed possible. However, Zishan wouldn't do such a thing, and this caused Yi Hong to have no choice but to anger his honor. This is a very troublesome problem. After saying that, Wei Chang went to accompany his girlfriend, leaving Big Brother Green behind. Little brother, don't be discouraged. Enlighten Zishan and strive to get her pregnant as soon as possible. That way, nothing will happen. How could Yi Hong not know about her big brother's persuasion? But she didn't want to force it. She was actually very satisfied with her current life. After chatting for a long time, everyone went back to their own home. Yi Hua finally knew what was called reap what you sow. Right now, he was asking questions in his ears. Yi Hua, when are you going to marry us? Yi Hua, do you not want to marry us? Yi Hua, do you have another woman outside again? Papa, Ollie also wants to get married. It seemed that he couldn't let them attend weddings in the future. However, as for getting married, Yi Hua had naturally thought about it before. My wedding with them must be an unprecedentedly grand spectacle. However, that still requires a bit of time, because I have yet to conquer the Sea of Stars. Zijin City. Qing family's villa. A handsome man drove a Bentley and stopped in front of the villa. The man took a lot of gifts from the car, then walked to the door and knocked. The door of the house could be seen being opened, and the woman who appeared was precisely Qin Ye's mother, Zihan. Looking at the unfamiliar handsome man in front of her, Zihan asked in confusion, "You are? Aunt Zi, don't you remember me? I am Qin Xuanzong. When I was young, I used to play at your house. When I was studying, I would come back home with Qin Ye every day. At that time, I was very fat." As he spoke, Qin Xuanzong puffed up his cheeks, proving that he was still the big fatty from before. Zihan suddenly recalled, back then when she was in Long'an City, there was a family with the surname Qin who lived in the neighbor's house. When she was young, she remembered that he was still chubby. It had been a few years since she last saw him, and he had become so handsome. "Oh, it's little Qin. Please come in," Zihan said with a smile. "Thank you, Aunt." Qin Xuanzong changed into slippers and walked into the house. Everything feels so familiar, as if it happened just yesterday. "Aunt Zi, is Qin Ye not at home?" Although Qin Xuanzong knew why Qin Ye wasn't at home, he still couldn't help but ask. Perhaps, history has changed. Upon mentioning her daughter, Zihan let out a deep sigh. Seeing that Aunt's expression wasn't good, Qin Xuanzong knew that history had not changed. Qin Ye was still following that bastard Long Outyin. "Aunt, quickly sit." Qin Xuanzong placed down the gifts and helped Zihan to sit down. "Looking at this handsome man in front of me, at least it is better than the Yi Hua who has a stern face, right? Why is Qin Ye so stubborn? Zihan let out a heavy sigh. Little Chin, to tell you the truth, Chinya is living outside in a fit of pique again. As expected, that Long Outyin is really inhumane. Not only did he harm Chinya, he also harmed Xin Yutong. He is simply inhumane. Brother, ever since Yihua appeared, your memory has been messed up. Long Outyin is still struggling in his cave. Chinya's temper is a bit bad, but she still cares about the family. Chen Xuanzong naturally had to put in a good word for Chinya. Zihan still had some impression of the little fatty in the past. At that time, he was shy and bashful. Now, he is so tall and handsome. He is indeed a good match for Chinya. Stop putting in a good word for her, she is infuriating me to death. Chen Xuanzong laughed lightly, appearing to be very magnanimous. This made Zihan feel that this person is more stable than Long Outyin. Little Chen, why did you suddenly move back then? Zihan asked curiously. Chen Xuanzong's expression stiffened. Back then, he didn't move, but rather, his entire family was exterminated. Back then, he wasn't there, so he managed to escape the calamity. After that, he concealed his identity and lived in seclusion. However, he still paid attention to Chinya. However, after hearing the news of Chinya's suicide, Chen Xuanzong became addicted to alcohol, and in the end, he jumped into a river and died. In the end, he reincarnated into a different world, became a demon emperor, and returned. Chen Xuanzong laughed lightly. Auntie, it's all because of the family's business problems. Back then, I left in a hurry and didn't even have the time to greet Chinya. It's fine, I will call Chinya back right now. I am really worried about her staying in the south all day long. After speaking, Zihan picked up her phone and called her daughter. Right now, Chinya was currently being pressed down by Yihua, and Yihua was using all of his strength to enjoy Chinya's cherry lips. Stop messing around, my phone is ringing. Don't answer it. Yihua said gravely. I am currently enjoying myself, and no one is allowed to disturb me. Wait a moment. Chinya rolled her eyes at Yihua. Yihua wrinkled his brows. Hurry up. Picking up the phone, Yihua saw that the call was from his mother. It has been a long time since he last saw his mother, and he misses her a lot. You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.